Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of international rugby, and this one, it is a first time ever South Africa versus Portugal. This game, it is going to be about redemption for the Springboks and also showing off the younger talent in their team, the squad depth that they will bring into the Rugby Championship for the defending champions, whereas for Portugal, this is their first venture into South Africa. The crowd looks like they have really shown up for this contest, and hopefully that Portuguese side are able to do just that as well. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the South Africans, Jan-Hendrik Wessels gets the chance at number 1, Johan Grobbelaar at 2, and Thomas de Toy as the number 3. Now already, looking through at that front row, we have got more changes by 3 times than what we saw in the first and second match between the Irish and South Africa. They ended up going with an identical lineup for those games, but now they have got the changes. Salman Moura is there at number 4 with RG Snyman slotting in as 5. Salman Moura actually going to be captain for this game, the 66th Springbok captain to be exact. Pepsi Buthelezi as the number 6, Ben Jason Dixon at 7, and Evan Royce as the number 8. Now this is a physical, in-form, loose forward trio. This is going to be one of the positions in the game that I feel like the Springboks will really have themselves a good advantage. I do look forward to seeing all 3 of them out there on the park. Cobus Reinach will be the starting 9 with Mani Lebok at 10. This combination has a lot of talent when it comes to being able to run the ball. They will certainly play a lot more of a attacking game than we saw from Fat de Klerk and Andre Pollard last week. Andre Esterhuizen in the midfield alongside a familiar face in Lukhan Yawam. He hasn't had a huge amount of minutes for the Springboks in the last 12 months or so. He's been slowly working his way back towards the starting lineup contention, but every time he gets close, Jesse Creel has a blinder and secures himself that number 13 spot. Makazole Mapimpi out on the left wing, Kutli Arinsa out on the right, and then at number 15, Apalele Fasi. He did play up against the Welsh in the warm-up game for the South Africans, looked very solid under the high ball, so I expect this game to be no different and him to have a great performance here as well. So in terms of who was in the starting lineup last week compared to this week, we only really see Kutli Arinsa, and he has shifted from the left wing to the right wing, so 15 changes for the Springboks, but also a few men did make their way off the bench in the last game for the Portuguese. Looking through at their side, they have got Fernandes in the front row alongside Begic and also Diogo Ferreira, I should say, as the number 3, Fernandes and Torgal in the locking duo. Now, there are a few familiar faces for the Portuguese from what they did have in the Rugby World Cup, but also we get to see some new faces, and that is something that is going to be pretty awesome to see for South Africa and Portugal in this game. The new faces, the debutants for the Springboks, these Portuguese guys getting the opportunity to go up against the world champions, something that maybe they never thought they would have the opportunity to do. Madeira alongside Pinheiro and also Baptista in the loose forward trio. Camacho plays 9 with Mulder at 10, Appleton and Lima in the midfield. Of course, Thomas Appleton, massive chance for him to captain the Portuguese up against South Africa. Mata is still out on that left wing, just like he was throughout that Rugby World Cup. Caroso Pinto out on the other wing, and then Bento at number 15. Looking through at the chat, we have got there, hi Hamish, hi everyone, says Tanya, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. And Vamos, says Daniel Easty, welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Hope you're excited for cricket season, just around the corner, of course. We have got there, good day, Hamish. I'm predicting 84-12 scoreline, says Justin, and I only want to see some crisp passing and some solid ball handling from the box. Boring rugby weekend. All the other teams are not doing very well compared to South Africa. Hey, says Gary, I would disagree. If you watch that Georgia versus Australia game, that was actually a lot more competitive than a lot of people anticipated. But that's the thing. If you watch rugby with a negative mindset from the get-go, you're always going to see negativity in the game. But if you look at it as we've got international rugby on, what can be the problem there, then you'll enjoy the rugby a lot more, Gary. So I do recommend at least trying to enjoy this matchup with the Springboks and Portugal. Screening from South Africa, says Brandon Slater. No disrespect to Portugal. They should have been a third and decisive test, but the second stringers should have a good run out, says Morne the Grange. And the thing is, they also want to make sure that they're giving their whole squad some sort of minutes heading into the Rugby Championship. We know how many players are pretty much on standby for the Springboks at the moment in terms of who could make their way into the squad. They had a list of about 15 guys that might make their way in. We have a very important match tomorrow. We have got There Can't Sleep, so figured I'd listen to you to help. Jokes, how you been, says Daniel. I've been pretty well. Hopefully you have been enjoying the off-season, but yeah, cricket just around the corner. Are you playing second or third grade, Daniel, this year? I assume you're going third, but who knows, maybe you play a bit of second as well. Australia versus Georgia was like watching two top second-tier nations. Just no good skills, a raw power like the box, says Gary. Once again, you tried to turn a positive into a negative. Did you see the game between Wales and Reds? I assume you didn't, but that game, in terms of entertainment value, that was actually one of the most entertaining games I think we've seen in quite a long time. No, fifth grade, says Daniel there. And Billy Proctor was very impressive, says Manny M. He did very well. And then don't get me started on Wales. They will lose to Pile Boys first 15, says Gary. And also we've got the South Africa 28, Portugal 15, says Andre. So expecting a little bit more of a competitive contest between the two sides. Hi, says Jonaldine. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Just need to watch that Australia game. Missed it this morning, says Justin. Portugal, not Portugal, Georgia they were competitive. You speak about Australia and Georgia. What was the score in that match, says Mornay? Just because someone hasn't seen it yet, I'm not going to give any spoilers about what the score was, but it was a relatively high-scoring one. Had a bit of back and forth, definitely in the early stages of the second half. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty good game of rugby. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to this one. We have no idea how these sides will match up. A South African younger team going head-to-head up against a Portuguese side that some people haven't even seen in action for an extremely long time, although they have been playing matches. They played up against the Namibians not too long ago. They managed to win that game 37 points to 22 in Namibia, so a big confidence booster for the Portuguese as they head towards this match up against the South Africans. For South Africa, they had that two-match series up against the Irish, won the first game by 7, lost the second game by 1 point. We wanted to see this one right here filled up, the third match in the series, but sadly we do not get to see it, and we don't even get to see it in the end-of-year tour for the South Africans. They will have, first of all, Australia and all their Rugby Championship fixtures up here. Then from there, they will be playing the Scottish, the English, and the Welsh in their November internationals. But I know for one thing for sure, people were talking about whether or not there was one more week of the international window where they could have squeezed in that Irish game, or maybe the first week, but not going to happen just yet. We have to wait at least another year. And at the Bok team, win, Bok supporter, and Hamish, if South Africa put 100 points, I'll buy you a cold beer, says Manny M. Who do you think is winning? Well, I do think South Africa are going to get themselves a comfortable win, but I want to see Portugal at least have some good moments in this contest. Like, they are a side throughout their World Cup that we saw were full of passion. They were extremely speedy down the wings. But then they've got Kutli Arunsa in front of them, out on one wing, Lucanio in the midfield, Makazole Mapimpi, Mani Labok. These guys who are just going to be extremely handy out there on the field. What do you think of Super Rugby XV? When internationals leave, top players from New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Moana create a dream team and then come tour the URC. Says Gary, that's one of your better ideas that I've heard you say, Gary. I'd love to see some sort of combined team from a competition. I don't know if World Rugby would ever go towards that because of, they want to get that Club World Cup going, and I feel like if they combined all those guys, that's a little bit similar to the British and Irish Lions tour, so there could be a market for it, but they'd have to make sure that they get it all sorted pretty well. But I'd love to see any extra game of rugby. Anytime the Barbarians play, I'm a happy man. Anytime the World XV come back, I'm a happy man. So either way, I'll probably be a happy man. And I've just checked the scoreline was 30-29. The Springboks won't not have any sleepless nights, says Monet Lagrange. Just said, I'm not joking. They will win by 19 points, and I feel like David Creel could have played in the centres for this game. I did have had a good season with the Bulls. Yeah, he was really strong for the Bulls in the URC. It's a little bit of a shame that he didn't actually get himself that Springbok call-up, and he also wasn't even in the list of injury replacements, I don't believe, for David Creel. So I'm not sure what he has to do in terms of compared to what he did this season to get into that Springbok selection area. I know that the 7 side, the Blitzbox, would certainly take him if he was available, just like I'm sure they would take JC Pretorius back if he was keen for a bit of a run around. Let's just hope it's a bit competitive, says Nicholas Woodward. Yeah, at the end of the day, as long as there's some sort of competitive nature between these two sides, and we see Portugal For me, the best case scenario is Portugal at least score themselves one try. Now, they could score more than one. Don't get me wrong, we could see 3 or 4, maybe, but at the end of the day, we just want to see it that they're not sitting on 0. Yes, Hamish, I am full of good ideas and stone cold hard facts, says Gary. And we have got there, it's in your head, Rassi, C, says Daniel with the C at the end. Box are wasting their time. They could have used this match as a third test versus the All Blacks. They wouldn't be allowed to, though, unfortunately, due to the way that the rankings work and the way that World Rugby have it set up. They do have to play, it seems, the second tier side. And 4 tries, no way, Hamish says Manny M. Now, you weren't listening, Manny. I said I would like to see them score at least 1. Who knows how many they could score? I didn't say as a prediction that I think they're going to score 4. If you want to know my prediction, of course, that was in the preview that I did a few days ago, but I didn't give them 4 tries. That is for sure. Munster beat the Bulls. It was URC Champs versus Super Rugby Champs. Says Giddy. I assume you're talking Munster beat the Crusaders rather than the Bulls in that regard. So I think this year we would actually get to see Blues versus Glasgow if they do continue that trend. What did you think of Caleb Clark's performance against the Flying Fijians? I thought he was very strong out on that wing. I know that a lot of people still think that he's the same player he was in 2022, but he's certainly come a long way and he's evolved his game. Looks solid under the high ball, brings that physicality, got nice pace, and yeah, I would put him in the team ahead of Mark Talia every day of the week, which I know is unpopular, but that's the case. And Reinach will score a hat-trick today, says Justin, and how's it, Hamish? Greetings from Four Ways, JHB, and looking forward to the game, says David. And why do Australia allow 29 points against them? Where are the Australian defence? If you saw some of the tries, you could also just give Georgia some credit because they actually had some incredible moments throughout their game, and their defence overall, defence doesn't always stop tries. And I know that that's a really weird thing to say, but Georgia tackled at about a 98% throughout that game. They missed about 4 tackles throughout the first half, yet Australia had 3 or 4 tries on the board, and it wasn't from those missed tackles, but it was more so from just Australia picking their attacking line, managing to find the gaps. So sometimes, you got to give teams credit as well. You can't just say a team played badly, and that's why the opposition scored. Once again, if you want to look at it negatively, you could, but there are certainly more positive things you could look at from that game in terms of the way that Georgia were able to play. I'm glad to see I'm back in the South African shirt, says Daniel. And some South Africans said the Bulls should be playing the Super Rugby Champs. I was just explaining the URC Champs with Munster, not the Bulls. Sorry, I misinterpreted that one. And we have got there, Hamish, you think Peter Lakai will get a chance this season? I'm not sure whether he will. I think next season's probably more so Peter Lakai's, unless we do see the possibility of an injury for one of those guys in the loose forward trio. But speaking of injuries and whatnot, the Springboks, they have found themselves with quite a few recently. Malcolm Marks, Franco Mostert, Cheslin Colby, Peter Steph-Toy, all out for the first match up against the Australians. Some even out for as long as 6 to 8 weeks for the Springboks. But they have got some great talent coming off the bench in this game. Andre Hugo Fenta, he is playing number 16. Little bit of a fun fact, his father, Andre Fenta, he played 66 tests for the Springboks, which is the same number as the number that the captaincy is going to be for Salman Moura. He is the 66th captain. Fun fact as well, there have been 16 father-son combinations for the Springboks. What number does Andre Hugo Fenta have on his back? That number, 16. So there's a lot of weird coincidences happening for that man in this contest. So hopefully he does show up and has a very strong game. Machuno and Nkanye, the other 2 front row replacements. Ruan Fenta at number 19 with Elric Lowe at number 20. Morne Vandenberg at 21. Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu. Man, that guy is going to be a superstar in the future for the Springboks. And then Juan Horn there at number 23 for the Portuguese off the bench. Few notable names. Andrade at number 19. I look forward to seeing what he can do at line-out time. Lucas as well as Cabral. I think 2 who will change the game a little bit for Portugal. The question is how many down will they be at that stage though? Is it going to stay close or is it going to be a one-sided affair? If Ireland beat the Box, Portugal definitely can. And Hugo Fenta dating Rassi's daughter as well, says Justin there. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because, we all know how father-in-laws can be. So you'd assume that he's happy to put him in his side, but he has to perform here because he's got a lot of A lot of pressure on him. Ruan Fenta just 21 and 118 kgs, 198 centimetres. Says, oh yeah, the boy did his growing early, that is for sure. And I've seen All Blacks was way more clinical against Fiji, with the scoreline was 47 points to 5. Yeah, but both sides still have things that they could improve on as well for that contest. The All Blacks actually missing quite a few tackles throughout that game. All Blacks sucks, says Gary. I mean, they beat 55 defenders throughout that game. I think that was one of the most that we've seen in recent history for an international game of rugby, but Fiji's defence was letting them down a little bit. And great that you're covering this game for us South Africans who are working away from the telly. Respect, must be late in New Zealand, says Craig. Yeah, we're currently sitting 2:45 a.m. here in New Zealand, but we're only around 15 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got there full-time 39-12, says Daniel. And Pasilio Tosi was a beast. All of the bench for New Zealand, definitely the debutants, had a real impact. Like Geordie Barrett, I'm not too sure. I think he was probably the one that let them down a little bit in terms of that back. Let me read my messages, please. Whereabouts are they, Paddy? I've been trying my best to keep up. You'll better hit that like button for my birthday, thank you, says Badzo. I can see why you wanted me to read it. Happy birthday, mate. Hope you do have an exciting day. Wallace Atiti was very impressive. He certainly was. And then we've got there the prediction of 78-10. You know what? Everyone put a score prediction in the chat if you do want to. I'm going to be marking them down, and then we're going to see who gets it closest at the end of the game. So I've got 2 at the moment. So do let me know what you think the scoreline will be in this contest, and also who you think will be the standout players for the Springboks and Portugal. For me, Rodrigo Mota, he's got a massive opportunity here. Both of them look not so good, eh? I thought he looked pretty strong when he came off the bench. He had some good running meters, kept the pace of the game flowing quite nicely for the All Blacks, made a lot less mistakes than he does for the Crusaders, and he was put in the deep end because he was only probably supposed to have about 20 minutes at the end, yet he played for more than a half. And you know what? I would pick him over Finlay Christie. So I feel like there's a lot of positives about the young players. George Bell was good, says Manny M. And 57-7, 44-21, 39-20 as another score. 103, says Cool Story, bro. He's going big. I think that's one of the first times we've seen the 100 pulled out in this game. Justin has gone 84 points to 12. Kobus Reinach as a player who will get himself the first try in this contest. But we are only sitting around 13 minutes away from the kickoff in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Padza. 28-15 for the South Africans. We've also got there in the chat 63-3, 68-12. We've got a lot of predictions coming in, 50 plus. We might need you to be a little bit more specific, Mr. All-In. And hi, how you doing today? Says Yako. And Fuff hasn't been that good recently, though. I think there is something in the wind at the moment. Says Gary. Yeah, although I feel like the 2 in this game, we're going to see Kobus Reinach as well as Morne Vandenberg. They both love playing an attacking style of rugby. Tamaiti Williams struggled a bit, got better as the match went on, and it was his first minutes of the year, so you'd expect him to be a little bit rusty. It's going to probably be a record defeat for Portugal. All jokes aside, says Destroying Dumb People. Well, at the end of the day, no matter what the score is here, it is history, because this is the first time ever that South Africa have played Portugal. So you wonder, when is the next time actually going to be? It could be in a World Cup just around the corner, 2027. We could see these two sides go head to head. Where can I watch it live from Ireland? Anyone know? Not sure about Ireland, unfortunately, for this game. Sadly, sorry. Lots of promising talent in the new pool of the box players. A lot of form URC selections. Says Asher, where's Josh Lord? He is injured at the moment. Hi, Amish and friends. Says Arthur there, and happy birthday, says Badza. And also 42-19 as the prediction. So Lebok has been blackballed. Says Katzenel. I mean, he is in the starting lineup at the moment for the Springboks. So it will be interesting to see how he ends up going in his first minutes since that quarter-final exit for the Stormers. And at the URC, maximum temperature is 16 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature is -3, which is about what we are sitting at where I am at the moment. And Ireland use a doggy box. And they are going to be shocked at how big, strong, and powerful we are as a unit. Then they will remember this is the B team. We have an absolute massive, powerful, big, hulking men, says Gary there. And I know you love the sound of that, Gary. If everyone wants to watch in South Africa, Supersport Channel 201, 208, or 211. I've just turned off the heater because it will get very hot in here. And we have got there, so a try would be good by Portugal, says a Cool Story, bro. And also, Lebok says Aruf, and Lowell says Fluffy. And there as well. But they are just showing the youngsters in this Portuguese side. Now, of course, there is a big difference between what we saw in terms of experience for the Springboks in this game compared to the last contest. Last time that we saw them play, they had almost 1,000 caps in their starting lineup, whereas this game they've only got 228. 67 caps amongst the forwards, so a very inexperienced pack. Here in South Africa, it is 19, but it feels like -3, says Daniel. And I'm heterosexual and proud. I just love seeing the physicality, says Gary. And current temp is actually 14 degrees because sun is going down, at least a little wind. And also in the last 15 to 20 years, the Springboks are not known to score 80 plus points like the All Blacks. If I had to guess, 52-5, says Brandon Slater, as the score prediction there. But we are extremely close to the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this game. We are going to be covering this one as well as the Sevens next week. The Olympics is going to be happening on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, like I said, be sure to hit subscribe. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the home side, the South Africans. That's really surprising that Lukhanyo has only got 35 caps. It seems like he's been around for so long, but he is actually still relatively early on in terms of those cap numbers. Jan Hendrik Wessels, of course, extremely young when it comes to the caps. Johan Krobler at number 2, and Thomas de Toy will be the starting number 3. Selman Moura, who is the captain, the 66th for the Springboks, with RG Snyman as the number 5. Pepsi Buthelezi, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Ruiz will be there as the number 8. Kobus Reinach and Mani Lebok in the 9-10 channel. Lebok will be trying to build his confidence as we head towards the Rugby Championship. Someone said the idea to me today, and I believe it was actually Albert who mentioned it, but they said if they ended up putting Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu as a number 15, Mani Lebok could have that 10 jersey, not have to worry about the goal kicking, and play with that freedom that when he does, he is an extremely dangerous option for the Boks. Andre Esterhuizen at number 12, bringing the crash ball from the Quins, and Lukhanyo first start for that man in an extremely long time. In a Springbok kit, Makazole Mapimpi, Kutli Aransa, and Apalele Fasi make up an extremely strong and dangerous back three for the Springboks in their starting side. For the Portuguese, few changes from what we saw for Portugal throughout their Rugby World Cup, but one thing has stayed the same, and that is the captain, Thomas Appleton, in that number 12 jersey. Moura, he is starting at number 10. He was mainly off the bench in that Rugby World Cup. And then Marta, he had a great tournament for the Portuguese. I don't see this game being any different, but we are just about to see the two sides make their way out of the tunnel. Bloemfontein Stadium in the middle of winter, and with the sun setting, ain't the warmest place to be, says Stefan. And if Portugal score one try, they would be proud, says Arthur. Exactly right. I feel like a lot of people understand that this game, there is a chance that it isn't very close. And, like, that's the thing. If it isn't close, that is to be expected, right? But Portugal, if they put up a fight, I feel like that is something that will be so beneficial for them in the long run. People will appreciate the fact that even if they're up against the wall, they are willing to absolutely go for it. You can see the smile on the face of Thomas Appleton at the moment. They are playing the final countdown over the stadium speakers at the moment. And big local Portuguese support at the stadium, red and green everywhere. I wonder if they have the Harley Davidsons at the stadium, says Albert. And the Springbok kit is too expensive, $125 for a shirt. That is cheaper than the New Zealand one, $150 here in New Zealand for an All Blacks kit. Appleton doesn't sound Portuguese, sounds like a Brit, says Gary there. Well, you can do his family tree if you like. Let us know what you find out, Hamish. I can score a try against Portugal, says Manny M. And the teams are here, says Daniel. They certainly are. Now the African Warriors will make their way out onto the field again. They fire up the crowd every time they're on the... That man's too committed. That man pretty much looked like Shrek, ladies and gentlemen. He had completely green dye all over his body. Some people had signed him, and I don't even think he was drinking. So he's a unique specimen, and we'll have to wait and see what he looks like by the end of the game. But fireworks going off in the green and the gold. These Portuguese look like a mean business, says Albert. And here come the Boks, says Daniel, and Selman Moura. Massive chance for him. Some people were surprised that he made it into the Springbok squad. He thought that his name being with the captain next to it was a typo. And Shrek not drinking, WTF, says Fluffy there. And strange that big business own our national sport. Fan Suck Hind, says Arthur there. I think they just said the 12th member of his family to represent international rugby for his country. That is massive for Salman Moura. I also do know he becomes the first ever Muslim Springbok captain. So that is another bit of a fact there about Salman Moura. Bomb squad, better live up to the name. And I says Patrick Brady, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. The two sides now out on the field. Salman Moura, 66th captain, which was the same number of caps as we saw for Andre Hugo Fenta's father, Andre Fenta. We'll be watching this game very closely. But Andre Hugo Fenta, he is at number 16. Andre and Ahmet centre, good depth. Says Alba, and this will be the perfect game for Marnie to build confidence at goal kicking. There isn't a lot of pressure on him for this friendly game, says Brandon. Although he probably will put quite a bit of pressure on himself, Marnie Libok, because we've got to remember, he is in the scenario here of if he has a great game, he might even go ahead of Andre Pollard as we head towards the Rugby Championship, which is only just around the corner. But they are about to sing the Portuguese national anthem. I believe his name is Chase something, and that is not me forgetting his last name. That is actually what he goes by. Or Jay something, I should say. But he's going to be singing the Portuguese national anthem today. Portugal make it in the Six Nations, then I will show them some respect. Says Manny M. Oh, that's just a terrible mindset, isn't it, Manny? Remind me to never mention a game of a lower ranked team in front of you, or else you're just going to be very negative about them. Like, at the end of the day, the Six Nations, they've got 6 teams. They aren't a part of it. They're a part of the European competition, and they've had some great results over there, but at the end of the day, you need smaller nations in a world of rugby, or else you're going to end up with the same sides playing everyone all the time. You're not going to have a World Cup. World Rugby would lose funding. They would go downhill, and then rugby dies. So you do need these smaller sides and these up-and-coming sides. We've got to remember, everyone starts somewhere. And at the end of the day, you know, as much as you love to see the great big teams and all that, you still have to remember that they also, at one point in time, did start somewhere. And the box should get loads of goal-kicking practice today, says Arthur. But the Portuguese national anthem, it has now been sung. And while it is a 4:55 in South Africa, says Daniel there as well. But now the South African national anthem is about to be sung, ladies and gents. Jody Williams will be the one singing this South African national anthem in front of a sold-out crowd in Bloemfontein by the looks of it. Okay, fair point, Hamish. I would have loved to have a third Irish game, but absolutely happy to see Portugal playing, says Simon Barnes. And I know that from the fact that that series between South Africa and Ireland ended 1-1, it just seemed like the call for a Springboks A or a South Africa A to make a reinsurgence, is that the right word? I think it is, back into the scene. Perhaps they could have been playing Portugal, perhaps Namibia, Kenya, giving some of those other African countries an opportunity up against a South Africa A side. Definitely because we have got about 50 players that Rassi has all available for these type of matches. Well, that Portugal 9 is small, says Albert, and even willing to sacrifice the second test for another country, says Simon Barnes. It's a very dramatic anthem, says Fluffy there. But yeah, you can see the tears on the faces of the Portuguese players. They know how much this game will mean to them and how much of a legacy they can make from this game. We mentioned about it a while ago for New Zealand versus USA, and a game that didn't end up being close. USA had a few guys who put their name on the map and then got themselves overseas contracts because of that performance up against a tough side. The 1-1 draw gives us more fuel for the next game, unsettled business. Definitely a good chance for Marnie to showcase the all-round value he had, says Asher. Exactly right. And he certainly brings a lot of that for the South Africans, so we will have to see exactly how Marnie Libok goes out there in their starting lineup. But the South African national anthem has been sung, ladies and gentlemen, which now means we are extremely close to the kickoff in this matchup. If you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like, but it is greatly appreciated you all being here for this stream. And while those Portuguese men are beautiful, says Jacqueline, and there as well in an 18 would make sense too, I guess, says Simon Barnes. Holly Davison, first female referee to referee a test match involving South Africa. So a massive achievement for her. She has done a lot of the sevens in the past, Holly Davison. Hopefully it does go all right for her. English commentators, Paul Stubbs and also Kabani Bobo. I do see Victor Matfield, sideline commentator. Of course, the Springbok great. He's had a lot of games on home turf. This one, he will be eagerly awaiting to see how this contest goes. Regina said, "Hi, mate." And it won't be beautiful after they play the Box, says Manny M. And also, Hamish has the energy of the World Cup final today, says Cool Story, bro. Yeah, I'm excited for this game. I do hope that we do see some emerging talent. I mean, for South Africa, they've got a lot of young guys who are hoping to burst their way onto the scene. And it's just as important for South Africa as it is for Portugal in this game, because these guys for South Africa, the young guys, Morne van den Berg off the bench, Juan Horn, going to be there, Ruan Venter, all these guys who want to get this opportunity and make the most of it. Hi, Hamish, says Megan Crow. Welcome in. Hope you are keeping well. Portugal have kicked off, and we are now ready to go for this contest. And here comes the big run from Andre Esterhuizen. Now, Kobus Reinach. Looks like he is going to be putting this one up in the air. Been learning tips from Faf de Klerk. Very early kick. That's close to the touchline. I think his foot was out. Yes, it was. So it is going to be a South African line out now early on. And in this match now, I'm feeling excited, like it's a proper test, says Albert. And Hamish is always fabulous. Portuguese players not as hot as Hamish. I think that the majority of people would disagree with you there, Ruth. Portuguese have smelly breath usually, says Bruce. Right, okay. And nice thanks, says Sandor. That's going to be thrown in from Johan Krobela with his first line-out throw of international rugby. Blabok with a little chip in behind, and it's going to be knocked on by Kobus Reinach there. I've got to go back for the original knock on. I think they've lost about 30 or 40 metres. Right, now we are going back for the original scrum. We have got there Moody in the centre, says Sandor. And also we've got there, stop kissing them then, Bruce, says Doctor. Amani Lebok, the little chip in behind. Kutli Arensa was chasing after it. He got the pass away to Kobus Reinach, but it was just a bit too far behind Reinach to be able to regather as he was tackled by Appleton. And now first scrum of the game. It's going to be Portuguese scrum feed. This is going to be a big test. Okay, Portugal actually have the advantage in the front row in terms of the weight, an extra 16 kgs in their favour. That's about the same weight advantage that the locks have for the South Africans, and then a 15 kg advantage for the South African back three. That wasn't straight, says Giddy Giddy. It wasn't the straightest line-out we've ever seen, but first ever throw at international level. I feel like they were a bit lenient towards Johan Krobela there. When I hear knock on, I want to puke. South Africa seemed to master that move. Says that was our anthem. So it was a pretty strong anthem overall, I would say. I think Portugal had that little bit more passion. Oh my. Andre Esterhuizen has just flattened a man, but I think he's also flattened himself. They're both still down. Oh, in fact, he's actually really badly hurt the Portuguese player here. It looks like he's been completely knocked out. I hope that this wasn't high from Esterhuizen, because if it was, this could be at least a yellow card here after he is crunched. Oh, it's head on head. Just a little bit of whiplash for the Portuguese players. Andre Esterhuizen comes in. Oh, and he just clips him on the ear. Oh no, they're saying it could just be whiplash. If there's no ear contact, it will not be a yellow card, but this does not look good for Portugal, unfortunately. And the box stop kicking, mate. Keep the ball rolling, passes better, says Ruth. And also we have got their box must take it easy at the moment. Well, that was anything but easy. Andre Esterhuizen just trying to decapitate the Portuguese centre. Doesn't look like he is going to be getting up from that one, unfortunately. Last 5 matches we have seen the South Africans, of course, winning that Rugby World Cup. And then the last 2 games, they have 1 win, 1 loss. That's Red, says Simon, although I don't think we got clear head contact. We've got to wait to see whether or not it did actually clip his ear, but it does sound like it's going to be play on for now. Which I'm not sure what they'll actually rule it as. I guess they go back for the Portuguese scrum because they did have the ball, I believe. They are just showing the debutants. Jan Hendrik Wessels in the starting lineup. Johan Krobela, Pepsi Buthelezi, Andre Hugo Venter, Ruan Venter, Morne van den Berg, and Juan Horn, all making their debut for the Springboks. Andre the Giant must play nice with these children. Says Albert, they looked horrible in real time. It did. I actually thought Andre Esterhuizen hurt himself as well because he stayed down lying next to the guy. But I think it was more so he was just going, "You all right? Oh, he's sleeping. Okay, we better get someone to help him out there." But it's a bit of an anticlimax for the start of this contest. 3 minutes in, and all they are going upstairs by the sounds of it. They want to check whether or not Andre stays and hit him in the head or not. If he does, it's probably going to be a yellow card. Sorry, my game's super delayed to you. I look nasty live, says Simon Barnes. We're just going to watch it here. Is it head contact? Oh. See, there's an arm wrap, so I don't see this as a red straight away. I think at worst it would be a yellow card. He's connected a little bit high. The Portuguese player was ducking down. His head just smashes into the ground as well, and that is a hard turf. It sounds like it's going to be a yellow card for Andre Estes in here for head-on-head contact. This is going to be an interesting start to the contest, even though I'm a Springbok supporter. Hope they lose this game. Things I don't like about them, I will leave it there, says Bruce, and get on with bloody Portugal. Says Manny M. Andre Estes, and he will receive the yellow card. The player that he did tackle high is still down for the Portuguese, and he is going to be taken off the field on a stretcher, so hopefully a speedy recovery for that man. We have got there 53-15 for the box. But yeah, he is going to be taken from the field, and that is a concern for Portugal, having to make their sub this early due to a head knock. Right, they're just going to work out who the next player is to make his way onto the field, but it will be kicked towards the touchline now by Joris Mora. And Bruce give it the times. There is no reason the box can't be physically imposing and have attacking flair. And hey guys, show some respect to the ref, says Jan. And they're in 53-15 is the prediction there for Jan. That is a good kick downfield. That was a legal tackle, even if it was hard, says Albert. Yeah, we will get to hear whether or not the TMO feel like that is going to be upgraded to a red. I believe is the way that they can still do it. I don't see it being upgraded though. Like I said, it's like yellow card at absolute most. But Dos Santos make his way onto the field. That is for Jose Lima, who only got 2 minutes up against the South Africans. But Portugal in possession now. Mata looping around. Here comes the Portuguese backline. And they have some of the crispest passing you will see for a tier 2 side. Almost claimed by Portugal. But Kurtli Arinsa has to put the ball down inside of the 22. South Africa commentary thinks the yellow was harsh. Says giddy giddy. And Gary's wife just blocked me. Says a fluffy there. But this was a nice backline for Portugal. That is something that throughout the Rugby World Cup, a lot of people did give them a huge amount of credit for. Kurtli Arinsa has to force that ball down though, and will now be the goal line dropout like I said. Scored a try against Namibia last week. It was Manuel Cardoso Pinto. In fact, it's a 5-metre scrum. It's taken back by South Africa. So this will give Portugal a great position on the field to be able to work with, definitely with their backline being able to function the way that it does. And they've also got the man advantage for the next 8.5 minutes, so they do have to make the absolute most of it here. To be fed in by Camacho. Go off the back here for Batista if they want to, but I believe, oh, what's happening? It's a double blow of the whistle, and it's going to be another scrum feed. Psychological damage. Poor Portugal, says Albert, and come on to South Africa, says Connor there. Currently 4 minutes into this contest, still sitting at 0-0. Are you covering the Rugby Championship matches, Hamish? Says Patrick Brady. We certainly are. Every single game of that competition we will be covering on the channel, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Alongside that, we are also covering the Pacific Nations Cup. We are going to be covering the contest taking place of the sevens. Any games of international rugby that we can, we will be covering as well. No way such high scores. The Box will not perform today. Does not seem so at the moment. Anything less than a good start, it is bad for South Africa. And this slows down my 103. Now, ball is going to be fed in. Good push from Portugal. That's coming out the back door for them. And they will look to go to the right-hand side. Little kick over behind. It's nicely claimed by Portugal. But they are still 5 metres out from the try line. Picked up well by Batista, who saw that there was the possibility of a box counter-ruck. Can the green and gold defend their line 5 metres out? Evan Ruiz and Ben Jason Dixon, the two Stormers players, making the tackle there. In behind here now for Thomas Appleton. Just slips over in the process. Adi Snyman going for the clean out. From the side was Thomas de Toy. Still a counter-ruck coming from South Africa. They did lose their footing. Hamish covers everything, says Albert. Yeah, we got a few games lined up in the near future. Now going off to the right-hand side here. It's going to be the replacement. Dos Santos gets the offload to Thomas Appleton. They're still 10 metres out from the line, Portugal. They've lost a little bit of ground, but they're not doing too badly at the moment in terms of being able to put together phases. They are up to 8. Looked like there was a knock on. No, it's gone backwards. There's Holly Davison. Still 10 metres out from the line, slowly moving back to their 22. Nice step there coming from Mura, who managed to get the offload to Thomas Appleton, trying to find a gap. He's got about 3 green and gold men lining him up. Manages to get his offload away, though, and some great pace being shown up the middle of the field for the Portuguese. They move into the 22. Ball bounces out the back. Another offload. They are still playing it. They've gone for the cross kick. It's going to hang in the air. It sits up, and Apalele Fassi has to clean it up and get it away to Makazole Mapimpi. They're 5 metres out from the line, South Africa, but it looks like they will survive this first Portuguese onslaught. Portugal not looking too bad, says Lilia. And a few, yes, your Olympics are around the corner, says Katzenel. And a long decline of the Springbok began against Ireland. Says, good story, bro. Did New Zealand win this morning? They certainly did. Mani Lebok kicks it into touch, but great attack and play from Portugal here. But well defended as well from the South Africans. They know that they cannot leak early, easy tries in this one. Just tuned in, who received a yellow card. It was Andre Esterhazen, who did end up getting the card. I saw some footage of this young Bok team practicing. Didn't really look like they're going to get they're getting along well. A lot of egos, says Albert. And, you know, sometimes the best sides are the ones who are completely on the same page, and you can't really have like those little disputes throughout a side. You got to make sure you're all playing for the same reason, all playing in the same way. At the moment, Portugal look like they are doing that throughout the first 10 minutes. Nice backline movement again here. Salah the dummy, but then he is tackled over the ball. Kurti Arnsa has lost his footing again. They just can't quite get that turnover that they're after here. Looks like Portugal a little bit isolated. Out on the wing, Makazole Mapimpi manages to make the tackle. Oh, and it's going to be the penalty, is it? No, we've got another injury and back play. What's happened here? Why have we got a triple blow of the whistle? RG Snyman may have been in a bit of a push and a shove, was he? Oh, yeah, RG Snyman wrestling one to the ground and pulling him around a little bit. Snyman deciding that he wants to try and fight 4 Portuguese players at once, and he's wrestled down by them as well. But I'm not sure what actually started that. But RG Snyman, obviously something got under his skin. It looks like it's going to be the scrum feed now for the Portuguese, but the referee having to stop that one to make sure no one threw any punches. Arasi just having fun, testing combos, says Sandor. Imagine if the Box lost this game, says Albert. It would be the biggest upset, I would say, in recent history. And that is definitely not something that they want on the record. So, is it possible? I want to say no, but Portugal have started this match pretty well. But it's a very long game, 80 minutes. South Africa also only playing with 14 on the field, we've got to remember. In all seriousness, only natural to begin a decline after 2 World Cups in a British and Irish Lions series. Says, cool story, bro. And Box very lethargic on startup again today, says Stefan. Now, scrum again for Portugal. Ball hasn't come out as easily, but they managed to push it to the back. They have been told to use it. Going away to the short side. Thomas Appleton, it looked like there might have been an offside there, but Appleton almost slapped it back till he knocked it on. Kobus Reinach kicks it in behind. There's open space there. Bouncing the ball is good for... Oh, Kurtley Ardens has almost been foot tripped there while he's in the air. That was an interesting one. I don't know what they will actually rule that if they do go back and have a look. Great hands from Mani Lebok. First attacking chance now for the Springboks, but it's taken 9 minutes for them to get their hands on the ball. Reinach goes off to Ben. Jason Dixon skip past Krobela, looking for Makazole Mapimpi. Couldn't quite find him. And Portugal over the ball. That was their penalty, I would say. RG Snyman now tackled low. Reinach going off to the left-hand side, finding Thomas de Toy. 20 metres out still for the green and gold. Mani Lebok with the inside ball to Johan Grobela. Oh, rough ball to Lukanyoam, who has managed to handle it very nicely. Evan Ruiz now breaking through one tackle. Has the ball stripped from him. And now Portugal going with the kick in behind. It's going to sit up. Caught in no man's land. And the Portuguese, they have an easy run into the try line. There might have been a forward pass in the first initial breakthrough. But Portugal score first up against the South Africans in Bloemfontein. And I who you're cheering for, says Simran. Well, everyone loves an underdog, but I I do want to see these young South African boys have a really strong showing here, and that is not the start to the match that they were after. The first try of the match going to Dos Santos. They'll just check that. I thought that was almost forward into the hands of Dos Santos initially from the ground. Well, Portugal just scored, says Lilia B. And Uruguay started well versus the All Blacks, but ended up being crushed, says Manny Emma. Springboks lose. It's because they are rugby's spiritual guardians and only trying to grow the game, says Sandor. And we have got there how many wins are South Africa on the run with at the moment, says Zersha. At the moment, they're on a 0-match winning streak. But before then, I think it was about 5 or 6, I think it was. How does a female ref handle a fight on this game? The exact same way the male ref handles it, because the referees aren't there to break it up. They're just there to try and stop the players from attacking each other. And there goes my prediction, says Katzenelli. Anyone who said nil for Portugal, unfortunately wrong in this case. I must be honest, even some South Africans want to see an upset. That kick has just gone over. And the score now for Portugal sitting 7-0, still with 1 more minute of the yellow card. And unfortunately, Mane Libok just caught with about 4 Portuguese players running straight at him. I don't know where Apalele Fassi was, but he certainly wasn't at 15 for that counter-attack. They got the first try I never expected. I'm cheering for both. Proudly Portuguese, South Africans, says Lilia B. Oh, let's have a scrum and kick a penalty goal. Real exciting South Africa, says Zersha there. And what a bunch of useless South African players. I'm sure Portugal are good enough, but to score first in South Africa, says Hangarat. Yeah, it's certainly a statement from the Portuguese. They have said here, we've come to play. And South Africa now have to find a way of countering that, which I don't think will take them long. Oh, the yellow card. Piss off. It's a red card for Andre Estes. And sorry for my slightly bad language there, but that's not a red card. That's going to change this game. Andre Estes and gone from this contest now. Showing a red card, the TMO must not like him. And most of these Portuguese are playing top 14. And Hamish is chiseling injured. Has the try stood? It has indeed stood. So, penalty going the way of South Africa though. But yeah, that yellow card of Andre Estes and has been upgraded to a red card now, ladies and gentlemen. Go Portugal, says Zersha. And what, says Zander, and deserves, says Crimson. Is chiseling injured? He is, alongside Peter Steftatoi, Villy LaRue, Franco Mostert, Malcolm Marks. Was that really a red? I don't think so. I think that yellow for me at most. There was still mitigation, I believe, in the way that Andre Esterhuizen wrapped his arms and the player was slightly ducking down. Same with Andre Esterhuizen. But that's a surprise. Big time. But now rolling maul attempted here for South Africa. It's going to be a legal sack from the Portuguese, so they will be 5 metres out from the line now with Kobus Reinach in possession, going off to the left-hand side. R.G. Snyman finds the offload there and over the line. Jan Hendrik Wessels scores for South Africa on debut. The big man at number 1. That's insane. No way, it's a red. What's happening with rugby? I can't believe it. Load of rubbish. Says Lilia B. It's on, says Bulla, and they have just got themselves their first try of this contest, South Africa. Maybe that red has fired them up more than just beforehand. I should have wished for no more TMO on Friday, says Padza. And the box must have had too much pre-match beer, says Maniema. What the actual? I just fainted twice. I have now fainted twice, says Daniel. Well, be sure to get some water and some sugar and whatnot. Try and avoid the fainting as much as you can. And if you're going to, be sure you're sitting down at least so that you don't end up falling as far. Where do the Australia versus South Africa 2 games take place? Both in Australia for those contests. I think one's at Suncorp. I'm not sure about the other one. What's with the quality of refereeing, says Stefan. Now, I know straight away, I just want to clarify this right now. Holly Davison did not make the decision to upgrade that to a red card. That was the TMO. So before everyone writes the narrative, because I know that there will be some, before people say that it was the female referee's fault, that there was a red card, they looked at it the first time, the whole refereeing group decided it was a yellow, the TMO is then in charge of whether it gets upgraded. That is not Holly Davison. Just to clarify. It's only fair, really. Versus 2 of the men, the other are. One is in Perth, says Crimson. Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? Because they're fighting, or they're also having Israel Adesanya versus Dracus du Plessis taking place around that same time. Score update guys at 7-7. That is correct. But Evan Royce now already 15 minutes into this contest. And it looks like now Kobus Reinach once again just outside of the 22. And now that one is going to be kicked high by Reinach running onto this one. Portugal didn't really look like they wanted it, so it's going to be the knock on. Here comes Pepsi Buthelezi as he is tackled by Camacho. Looking to go through. Here comes Reinach, the sprinting superstar, or at least his dad was, for the South Africans. Ben Jason Dixon goes off to Mani Lebok. I think there's an offside penalty advantage as well here. Here comes Thomas the Toy, 15 metres out from the line. South Africa with the pick and go for Ben Jason Dixon. Now, nicely tackled. Again, RG Snyman. Evan Royce almost knocking that ball on around the side of the breakdown, but another penalty advantage in favour of the Springboks. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, the ball is stripped from him, and they'll go back for the penalty. I'm refereeing myself for South Africa Rugby. TMO make the decision. Says Poulet there. And also Damani missed the conversion. I didn't think he did, but they haven't given him the points on the actual scoreboard, so maybe he did from straight out in front, which is quite surprising for Mani Lebok, but also at the same time not that surprising. It'd be the biggest upset though. Says War there and Hamish. How much games does South Africa on the run with? Says Zersha. Well, at the moment, they are on a 0 match winning streak, but before that stage, they were 6, including the World Cup. So, it's pretty decent, isn't it? Guess nothing new, says Brandon. And Jan-Hendrik Wessels is a very interesting player, a prop and a hooker. The plays like a feature flank. Rassi said he has big plans for him. Maybe she should be a rugby player. I certainly should not be. I would probably get broken in half without even playing a game. Probably just at practice I'd end up getting injured. I can feel the neutrals will in the box to lose. 4 times chance they hate us because they ain't us. Says Sander and Lebok. I really want Mr. Feinberg to take over 10. Now thrown in by Johan Grobelaar. Now RG Snyman just throws it back. There's going to be a knock-on, I thought, there from Kobus Reinach. I have to say, Lucanio Arm's looking a little bit leaner than when he first came back from his injury. I think that man's been working extremely hard to get back into that number 13 jersey. It should have started 15 versus 14. Now it's interesting. One good thing about the red card is he stays and won't be on the field. The man is limited, says Grant. Marnie, don't lose your credibility because of poor kick into goal. And he is getting injured carrying the bag, or the kit bag, says Fluffy. What the bloody hell is going on, says Akaris. Yeah, close game at the moment. Only sitting 17 minutes in, and at the moment, 2 points difference between these two sides. Possession is 50-50. Territory, Portuguese, with the little bit of an advantage, 56% for them. But Johan Grubelaar once again throws it in. Rolling ball now coming for the green and gold, and this is going to be the second Bok try. It's Pepsi Buthelezi who scores it there for the South Africans. Now they have taken the lead in this matchup. 18 minutes of fast-paced rugby at the moment. The question is, are both of these sides going to be able to match this tempo throughout the 80 minutes? For the South African players, they have been playing throughout the URC, so they have been keeping fit. And Bok's going to make a big statement, says Sandor. I feel like this is... I feel like now they have to, if that makes sense, because they did concede that first try. Because they're playing with 14 on the field, they will want to prove that they can really extend this lead and put in a massive showing. And like I mentioned, this is more of a trial run for some of these guys who are looking for spots in the squad heading into the Rugby Championship. Definitely hate yes, but not because we ain't yes. I would never trade our New Zealand numbers for yous. 9 World Cups, 4 Rugby League World Cups, most 7s titles. Says Ursha. I'm convinced that Portugal will still lose against 10 men. Says Katzenau on too much power. I need a couple more red cards, says Fluffy. And normal service is resumed, says Akaris there. Now Mani Lebok. Can he get this kick over? And slowly pointing the box in the right direction. In this game, he's got 16 seconds left. And he has missed again. Out to the left-hand side for Mani Lebok. He is 0 from 2 at the moment. And 9 Rugby World Cups there, Sandor, across the men's and the women's, is what he is referring to there. I think the Black Ferns have won 5 World Cups on the women's side of things. Fun fact, Cape Town has a big Portuguese population. A lot of second gens speak Afrikaans now, says Herman there. And Mani is slowly kicking himself out of this team, says Seller. Right, looks like someone's got a little bit of a boot issue. Who's that? We got the knees. I think it's Salman Morat, the captain. Can we get Sasha on the field, says Brandon Slater. Someone earlier on mentioned something that I thought was a good idea. And I want to get your guys' opinion on it as well. And that is having Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu at number 15 and Lebok at 10 and having Ungume Zulu doing the kicking. Because Mani's attacking game, I think, is still strong enough to keep him in the side. But the problem is his kicking at the moment. They should have given Sia Masuku a chance, says Lilia. And also we have good their way to the box ever start Lebok. He's been asking this since the World Cup. He's the same even for the Stormers, way too inconsistent. And also Damani missed twice already. He unfortunately did Megan throughout his first 2 kicks, although that's a nice pass from Mani Lebok. Opens up the space on the outside now. Apalele Fasi alongside. Makazole Mapimpi puts the chip in behind. Ooh, that's well handled from the number 15 for Portugal. Now running with a counter-attack of his own. Makazole Mapimpi getting the turnover alongside Johan Krobela. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. Apalele Fasi does knock that ball on near the halfway line. And it's now going to be a Portuguese scrum afternoon all, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. Great idea. It was my idea, says Albert. And how many Commonwealth Games medals we got? Better add them, says Sandor. Not sure about Commonwealth Games. I know Olympics-wise, Fiji are actually getting themselves up there a little bit in terms of those rankings. And facts are facts, don't cry about it, says Zersha. And why is there a large disciplinary or disparity between male box and female box, says Katzenell. You'd have to ask someone in South Africa who's got a bit more information. Like, I would assume that it's just down to the lack of funding and also the lack of awareness in terms of, or the popularity of rugby for females in South Africa. That's not to say that they can't become a great side in the future. I know Nadine Ruiz, she is an absolute tank in terms of the way that she plays the game of rugby. And we have got there, add these nuts, says Doctor. And we have got there, you're right, Mani is a good attacking player, but kicking is vital, as it is the points that win the game, says King X. So is that where you can put Ungume Zulu as the number 15? Keep Lebok in the starting side. Will it lead to more tries being scored for these South Africans? Pat Quates, 14 kg advantage for these South Africans. And kindly update the score to 10-7. You didn't like the Springboks still being behind, did you? There we go. Has now updated. Yep, at least Lebok's kicking is consistent, says Albert. And Mani usually starts slow with the boot. Finds his range eventually. Now big scrum from the box. That ball is stuck in. Portugal trying to get it out there, but the Springboks will win the penalty. What is the correct score? Currently 10-7 after 21 minutes. And we have got there. All right, I'm off to sleep. Good night, all. Have a great day / night wherever you are. Good luck to both teams. I hope Portugal do well. Says Pads Ablaze. And we have got there. I also can't fathom why Mani is out there. Perhaps Rassi told him that if he fails today, he is out. Right, looks like they're actually going to take a kick at the post here for Mani Lebok just to try and give him some confidence. 10 doesn't have to be kicked, or the kicker. 2 doesn't have to throw the lineouts, or rather someone take over kicking duties when Mani is on. Let him focus on his job. Oh no, they're kicking for touch, sorry, rather than kicking for the posts. Thomas the Toy, what a scrum, says Lilia B. And Sasha will take over from Mani at 10 for the Box and the Stormers, says Grant there. Only 18 minutes remaining in this first half. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like. We've got plenty more rugby coming up in the near future next weekend. I believe we've got 1 or 2 games that we are covering in Union, and then also, alongside that, we are going to be doing the sevens, the Olympic sevens, the Blitz box in action for that contest. Are you going to cover Chile versus Scotland? I am not, only because I don't think they're showing it here in New Zealand. But now, nice run from Lukanyuam. Gets the 10 metres out. Covers Reinhardt. Goes to Salman Morat. It's going to be knocked on by the South Africans. We have got there. Stop the hate, guys and girls. We are all South hard. All South hard. I get what you're saying, Doctor, but it also sounds like a slightly innuendo for something else. And I can say at the moment, I am not hard in that way. I don't know why I felt the need to clarify. I would like you to cover more league matches. Well, I'm not going to. But, no, we did the Rugby League World Cup, and that was all right. That was an interesting time, as Grant will know. We decided to cover a game of rugby league rather than staying at a party, and some certain events did take place. I feel very sad for Andre. He probably was looking forward to teaming up with And Rugby Union, New Zealand only the team to beat every team more. Got 20 on the box, more consecutive wins, 18. First to do back-to-back World Cups, first to 3, says Zersha. Although, of course, first to 4 was the South Africans. There's bro. And also New Zealand Kiwis much tougher than the All Blacks, so go watch them. And Chile, the underpinning, our little brother of Argentina in every department. I'm not hard in that way, title of famous sex tape. Says Grant. The record at Toyota Stadium, 21 games. They've won 14, they've lost 5, and they've drawn 2, with a win percentage of 66% for the Springboks at this ground. Looks like there is another injury for one of the Portuguese players. Thanks for the great pronunciation, says Bianca. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. I did just say Bianca because I'll be honest, your last name I might not pronounce so well. Is it Funderschaif? Scheif? Is it Scheif? It's probably not. Sheaf? Shif. It's got that ch in it, doesn't it? Oh, is there a ch in it? I love the way pronunciation. Ranak Mora says Bruce there. World Rugby have to fix the red card for accidental head contact. Is Portugal playing better? Oh, who's this player actually down? I think it's one of the forwards. I love watching the New Zealand Warriors in the NRL. And Skyfe. Oh, okay, so pretty much the only pronunciation I didn't try. My apologies, Bianca. Hopefully I'm saying your first name right, unless it's Bianca rather than Bianca. And sorry for laughing, Kiwi lad. More like Skyfe. Yeah, I won't forget it now, seeing as I said everything but the actual pronunciation. Amani, just like Elton Yankees. Imagine getting to kick for the Springboks being that useless, says Bruce. I hope Portugal have enough subs. Another injury, says Lilia. Yeah, they're starting to rack up a little bit. That is the second injury for the Portuguese in the first 23 minutes. I'm watching the South African version of The Muppet Show, says Craig. In New Zealand, I need another rugby league team in the NRL. I mean, let the Warriors win it first, and then if they win, then you could consider adding another one. That is another big scrum there, but Portugal managing to keep it on their side, back into the pocket, and kick downfield for Moura. They've actually said that it was touched. Oh, Apalele Fassi almost overrunning. That one's Scaife. And that's a nice run from Apalele Fassi. Puts the chip in behind for Kurtley Arens. He will score again. When doesn't he score for the South Africans? And they've got themselves now their third try in the contest. I'm always wondering where you are from, Hamish, says Megan Crow. I am from New Zealand. I don't know whether or not you want more specific than New Zealand, but South Island of New Zealand. It's currently 3:33 a.m. here, but I'm still wearing a dress shirt and a tie at this hour of the night. I don't really know why, but we decided we might as well. I heard a lot of players in New Zealand are taking up league instead of union, and beautiful by Fussy, says Lilia there. Yeah, he went from almost being out of position, taking the kick at the back, to then being in the perfect position to put a chip in behind, where Kurtley Arendse was lurking, ready for that ball. I'm from South Africa, says Megan Crow there. Whereabouts in South Africa, which I was learning about provinces earlier on. I learned Western Province isn't actually a province, it's Western Cape, I believe. If you're from there, then that would be a really weird coincidence. Hamish is originally from Antarctica, says Albert. Anytime I hear the word Antarctica, it makes me think back to when me and Isaac, one of the other Kiwi lads back at school, wrote a national anthem for Antarctica, which was also to the tune of Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. Just some random information for you. That's a better strike from Mani Lebok. Wait, you're actually from Western Cape? If you're actually from Western Cape, that is a very weird coincidence, the fact that I was learning about Western Cape earlier on. I think the box are just testing. Says Manny M. Remember I said 57-7. Says Juan Pierre Bosch. And there, I'm not a fan of Farsi. There's just too many flaws in his game. Sing it, says Fluffy. I would rather not. I don't think you guys need to hear that. Not now, anyway. 26 minutes through, 17 points to 7 now the score for the South African Springboks. Claiming that ball, RG Snayman getting his offload away to Evan Ruiz. And Western Cape is a province. Says Stefan there. Now we have got there, what a kick, Mani. And happy feet penguins, says James Taylor. Antarctica is a fake continent. I'm from Western Cape. Oh, what a run from Mani Libbok now. And gets it away to, I think that's Jan Hendrik Vessels. That man is pure pace that you almost think he's a back. Great hands from Libbok. Ball on the outside. Morat now gets it to Fussy. Makazole Mapimpi cuts back inwards, but a great low tackle made by Thomas Appleton as he receives a knee in the side of the head from Mapalele Fussy in the breakdown. Around the side, Ben Jason Dixon. They will score another try. That was pretty fast. They're playing in Bloemfontein, which is in the Free State. Says Sally there. And Mani back in the Bok A team. And greetings and salutations all. Well, looks like Los Lobos on the scoreboard. Well done, says Kevin. And debutants are all going to score their first tries today, says Lillian. Springboks could probably have to play with 12 men. Give ABs a chance. And also we have the Hamish the Waimeti goat. Says Crimson there. But Johan Grobela with the pass on the outside. Macha Zolema Pimpi. He almost got through. There's a big gap there. I wonder whether or not that is due to the clean out and the breakdown from South Africa. But I believe the Portuguese player was in the breakdown. So he was, I guess you could say, eligible to get taken out of contention. Mani Libbok at the moment, he's sitting 1 from 3. If he gets this over, he's going to be sitting at 50%. And that's not terrible. And the Boks are busy defrosting. Says Brandon. And also we have got there, New Zealand was a British colony. But it has a Dutch name, Zeelander. Why? Couldn't tell you. I probably learnt it at school, but I can't remember. And good build up to the try, says Juan, and Abel Tasman, says Sander. Now Mani Libbok gets plenty on it, and he's missed, unfortunately. I think he's trying to kick the ball too hard. It just looks like he's trying to absolutely thump it through the sticks, but maybe he should just be tapping it, just give it a little tap. I can't kick goals myself, not very well. Some of you guys, is anyone from the days back about 2 or 3 years ago when at halftime, or actually before the match started for a couple of the South Africa versus New Zealand games and whatnot, we did a little segment of goal kicking? Does anyone remember that? Probably not. Portugal are lucky that I'm not playing for the Boks. I would have scored a hat-trick of tries, says Manny M. I mean, you're also not eligible though, are you, Manny? So you wouldn't be allowed to. Western Cape is bordering India and Atlantic Ocean. Can the fullback kick for a team? Oh, that's going to be a drop from Portugal's fullback. But yes, absolutely. Anyone in the backline, anyone in the forward pack can also kick. Just broke a tooth-biting biltong. That is a very unfortunate time for that to happen. Hopefully the dentist is open on Monday for you. That's going to be now a penalty to Portugal. Nice work in the breakdown from this Portuguese team. I most certainly do. I think it's actually Samuel Bento, the fullback, who managed to get that. Remember how good Percy Montgomery kicked for goal? I play for England. Or I can play for England, says Manny M. Even school kids are better at goal kicking than money, says Brandon. I most certainly do, says RJJ. And I remember, says Nazi there. And first one with a sky at the end, says Bianca. So it's Skyfe. Hopefully. Maybe. Probably. I'm slowly getting there with some pronunciations. I'll be honest, there's a few names that I strategically just say the first name. So it's Bianca, not Bianca. Wait, did I say Bianca first or Bianca first? Might be Bianca, is it? I feel like saying Bianca with a New Zealand accent makes it even stronger in terms of the pronunciation. But nice run from Lukanyuam. Now going back across. Mani Libbok sells the dummy, goes through. Great run from him again, making meters for fun. That rhymed, I think. Now, nice run from Ben Jason Dixon as they moved to only about 30 metres out. It was off the foot of Kobeth Ranak, so it's going to be play on, no knock on. Second announcement was right, says Igor, I should say, and kudos on your pronunciation of the South African player's names, lol. Says Benita there. Nice run from Makazole Mapimpi. He got his offload. It's a poor one, though. And it falls short of Courtly. It falls short of Kurtley Hutchinson. My tongue got stuck in the wrong place there. Don't say it, Grant. Mani Libbok was kicking and took at him. Only games worth watching is Boks versus New Zealand, says Igor. I mean, Georgia versus Australia early on was quite entertaining. And only thing to be said, I've got we are a man down. Bianca, doesn't sound right, Hamish. Yeah, I feel like I say it too strongly. WTF are the Box doing? Ayo, says Crimson. And what she said, says Tanya, and Fundam Flair. Says Katzenell. Best try scoring ratio for South Africa of all time is Kutli Arunsa with 82.4% chance that man will score a try in a contest. It's like Makazole Mapimpi just going around for those high fives and still looking out for one of those massive rugby balls you had. That was cool. Yeah, I actually found it in like a local outdoor shop about 10 years ago. I have no idea whether or not they still sell them. That's why Irish and New Zealand hate South African supporters. You guys talk too much. You don't have the numbers like New Zealand. Seems like you had to wait that long to say one stat. And my tongue got stuck in the wrong place. I am duty bound to say it, says Grant. Bianca. Lock it in. We'll go with that. This Bok team seems to be aggressively looking for the offloads. Yeah, they're trying to keep that ball alive and tire out the Portuguese, which, you know, I think's worked all right so far throughout this first half. They've had a few mistakes. Tongue stuck by Hamish. Skype is Afrikaans for a joint. Well, there you go. I did not know that. But now that I do, I feel like I'll try and not say it too much. And Bianca. Okay. We'll get it eventually by the end of the match. We've got 8 minutes remaining in the first half. I don't think I said that, Sandor. Now, it's a scrum reset. I think at the moment, Francisco Fernandez is not happy with what is in front of him. Of course, not being Holly Davison, who stood in the middle of the scrum, but instead the man across from him, Thomas de Toy, I should clarify. Bok is good at phases, says Igor. Portugal, they are deep inside of their own territory, so I feel like the best case scenario here is to just get this ball and get it downfield. Not going for anything too drastic. Marnie playing himself out of the Springbok team, only off the kicking tee. He's had some very good runs throughout this contest, but unfortunately when you are given that kicking tee, like, it's kind of one of your main jobs, isn't it? Now, nice short ball from Appleton. Looks like Portugal are going to try and run this out of their 22. Even Ruiz trying to hold him up. I think Pepsi put the lazy was hanging on to the boot. Now counter ruck coming from the Springboks. Physicality being shown again by South Africa. Jan Hendrik Wessels. Oh, he was falling down. Reinach goes in behind. Lebok with the ball to Upper Lilifasi. Quick hands from Lokanyuam. Here comes Ivan Ruiz. Close to the touchline. Great work over the ball, and Portugal will get themselves another penalty. Yes, you are definitely not a fly half, says Bianca there. And they forced it too hard a few times and given away good attacking ball. This is how you get better at those offloads, so happy to see it. And game clock says Arthur, yeah, at the moment we are 34 minutes through. And Ruiz is the only name you still struggle with, says Albert. And the Marnie haters forget how beautifully he set up that last try. Take the 5 over the 2. I even know how to pronounce the R like we do. Great, says Benita. And also we have got, please get money off the field. Here's German sausage. The worst, says Leon. That was a good joke, Leon. I enjoyed that one. We were telling some dad jokes on the stream earlier on, and we were having a great time. It was Australia. What are we checking on the TMO? Something's chicken. Something's a croc. Oh, not a croc roll. Those are ugly. Bloody hate crocodiles, I do. Checking the last breakdown for a croc roll is the comment from the TMO. I don't know where he's from, but I would assume with an accent like that, he's got to be close to Scotland. I wish you still get Morat wrong. I think I just do it for Bants now, Grant, you know. It's like Ollie's. Oh, it's Kutli Arunsa with the croc roll here. Is it? Yeah, it is Kutli Arunsa. Oh, yeah, no, ugh, his knee could have gone backwards there. in our breakdown. Is this going to be a yellow card for Kurtley Arden? So we saw one last week for Josh van der Flair. They're going to check it at full speed, but this could be ugly for Kurtley Arden. So we know the TMO isn't messing around. Better give him a red. Says Sandor. There we go there, jokes. We're mad funny. It was a boring game, but it was good time management, says Doctor. He does. It's going to be a yellow card for Kurtley Ardense here. And no way that's very soft yellow if it's one, says JP. So a little bit similar to what we saw last week for Josh van der Flair against Malcolm Marx. Now, I will say Marx is one I thought looked worse than that, so I don't see this being upgraded. No way, that's very soft yellow. And another yellow thoughts, says Lilia B. And come on, Bok, get 29 by halftime. Okay, so the reason behind that being a yellow card for Kurtley Ardense and the way that they've described it there does make a bit of sense. Pretty much, if you roll a player and it's a croc roll to the side, it's a penalty. But if you then proceed to follow through and land your body weight on them, that then makes it a yellow card. Ardense, you are so funny and entertaining, thank you, says Benita. And other box trying new tactics. No, man, just play the game naturally. And okay. So if a 13-player bot team, 80 on Portugal, there'll be a embarrassing nice run here, though. Oh, it's going back for a penalty for obstruction. And Portugal are almost in with Manuel Pinto. Someone got their wish 13. Looks like, oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy here. It's kicking off here between the two sides. That was Q for WTF, says JP. That was definitely a yellow card. No more croc rolls, says Grant. And I see 12, says Sandor. Okay, so he's run to RG Sneyman there. Oh, yeah, Evan Royce has just gone down, it would seem. Just a half shove from a prop to a lock there. Unfortunately, they've been back and forth all throughout this game already. Okay. Oh, okay. It's actually going to be reversed here. Portugal are going to get the penalty for RG Sneyman being naughty. The penalty was originally for obstruction. Then South Africa retaliated. Okay, Thomas Appleton is translating to Francisco Fernandez. No more pushing. Is pretty much the gist of it, but the penalty is going to be in favour of the Portuguese. The crowd are not happy with it. Hope the Portuguese get some more ball in their hand. They are fun to watch run. Where was the yellow card when Marx was croc rolled and on a previously injured knee? There was one last week. Not complaining about the yellow, but some consistency would be nice. Kalen Doris, in fact, rather than Josh van der Flair, did receive a yellow card for that same croc roll that you are talking about. That was last week. RG Stiff Idiot says Crimson there. Should go back to the drawing board about the red card, says Spider Mech. And Portuguese getting underneath RG's skin. Not a good idea. Can you explain this croc roll penalty in more depth? So pretty much, like as in what a croc roll is or how it's a yellow card. Because pretty much a croc roll is when you pull a player over to the side. Like a crocodile when they have their prey. They rip it around. That was a weird thing, but pretty much they roll. Hence the name. And then from there, if you put your body weight to the side of them, they consider that as just a penalty. But if you then put your body weight onto them, like while they are pretty much onto their limbs and whatnot as you're rolling them, that is when it becomes a little bit more severe. And that is where it becomes a yellow, if not red card in certain scenarios. It's going to be a scrum feed now for the South Africans. But Crocs use their mouth. I didn't see no mouth, says Sander. Well, all the players out there have one. And like a crocodile death roll, says Fluffy. And keep it in the 80. Yeah, yellow. Under our seats go. Good luck, Portugal, says Mr. All-In. Costa is going to be onto the field now. That is for Francisco Fernandez. They have felt like maybe he's been a bit too aggressive throughout the early stages of this match. And the way rugby is going, their kits may include Tatis. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, another penalty going the way of South Africa. Reinach fired up. Okay, my apologies. Rusty memory, says Narman. Although there was arguments of maybe a second yellow card for the Irish in that same crock roll situation with James Ryan being also kind of involved in it. We have there, pump your brakes, kid. He's a national treasure. And okay, thanks, says JP. You also need to look at the python strangles, not just crock rolls, says Albert. I was going to make a joke about python strangles. Sounds like something. I'm not going to say it. You can make it up. You can imagine what I'm going to say in that scenario about a python strangle, but it's recommended not to strangle it too hard, or else you're doing it wrong. Croc love to roll because their dancing move, catching their prey, says Spider. Now rolling maul here. They have to use it very soon here. South Africa offloading it back to Kobus Reinach. Now Mani Lebok goes to Lukanyuam. Gets the offload up to Reinach again. We'll put the wide cutout pass into the hands of Makazolema Pimpi. And feel we got lucky on the scrum where we lost the bind for sure. A benefit of the doubt for us there. See Simon Barnes. I'll be honest, I wasn't paying much attention. Now going back across to the right-hand side and behind Jan Hendrik Vessels, Mani Lebok, short border, Lucanio arm. He's got pace, Lucanio, and he scores the try. Great one for the big man. He has been waiting so long to be able to score that, and his teammates know it. They have all gone over to him to give him a massive hug. 7th international career try for that man. But 39 minutes in, showing his pace. People have been asking whether or not he still has it. I think that answers that question. If you choke your python too much, you go blind, says Michael. That is what I've heard. Sadly, not what I've seen. I lost my eyesight a wee while ago. That's not true. That was a joke about pythons. You can go off now. Yes, Lucanio, says Grant. Easy try with 13 men, says JP, and still in the 20s for Porch. Says, cool story, bro. And Marnie having a good game with ball in hand, says Byron. Yeah, that's the thing. He's doing well on attack. Kicking T, hasn't quite been successful, Unfortunately, he's got 30 seconds left here, though. Give to RG, please. A higher possibility to convert this try, says Bradley Slater. Although he's been too busy fighting Francisco Fernandez. Shows your palms, Hamish. What do the palms mean? Oh, it's hairy. Isn't it the hairy palms? Now, my palms are pretty unhairy. It's gone over from Mani Lebok. That was a good kick from the sideline. You need a plate of chicken wings. Absolutely, I do. No pressure, Mani, says Salah. Mani needs to stick in his ass to set it up. Says Megan, you're more entertaining than the rugby. Hope you visit us in South Africa soon. Too funny. You should have stayed in your jammies, says Mandy there. I'd love to visit South Africa at some stage. Hopefully, in the future, we will be able to. It's going to be kicked off long. Evan Ruiz will kick it into touch. And that is going to be halftime now in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. 29 points to 7. Not a bad score for the South Africans here. How else you come down after a night of commentating? A dirty spank, I bet. That's a weird... No, not really. I have a shower. It's normally my go-to, just because sitting here for 12 hours or 16 hours on the weekend, you just feel like you want to get up and do something. I think you need to update your scoreboard. Says Richard, I hope that it does say halftime very soon, because it's still ticking over. I'd love to meet you, Hamish. Says Megan Crow. I'm not that hard to find, I wouldn't say. Except I probably am, because I don't really leave the house. Does the show have an age restriction, says Vanita? Yeah, it's going downhill, isn't it? But I'm having fun. Half-time, ladies and gents, between these two teams. To be honest, this match will leave the coaching staff with more questions than answered. The way this is going, says JP. Speaking of hairy palms, where is Gary gone? Who's Gary? Oh, Gary, old lifting weights man. Yeah, not sure. He'll be back at half-time, I would think. The box seems to take the clock to the minimum, says Arthur. And also it's Gritty Man, says Mr. All In. But yeah, overall, first half, when we look through at who stood up for the Springboks, I would say, I think we need a list here for us. And because there are actually quite a few players who have done well. The loose forward trio, I think, has been very strong throughout this game. Jan Hendrik Wessel has been active throughout this contest. Kobus Reinachs look good. Mani Libok with the ball in hand has looked good. Kicking T has been a little bit worse, 40% for him in this contest. Makazole Mapimpi had a couple good runs. Lucanio Am, nice run there from him. And then, Kutli Aronsa hasn't looked too bad either. Didn't look that fast in that dash, and he's still class. I think he looked pretty quick. Overall, show me your palm, Hammy. I'll read it for you, says Spider-Meg. Are you good at reading palms, are you? Oh, my palm's got a dint in it. I don't know why. You probably can't see that, can you? No, probably not. There's a dint. Where is the dint? It's there. You can't see it. That's my hand. I don't know whether that gives you any information as a palm reader. How would you rate Portugal's performance out of 10? I'll give them about a 6-ish. Because, at the end of the day, they weren't given a chance in this game. Someone deleted my comments from your vids. I think it's to do that upset person with me last week, says Annoy. That is really weird, isn't it? Where's the guitar? I honestly was hoping that no one would remember because I was supposed to bring it back to the house yesterday, but I didn't get the chance. So I don't have the guitar, but I'll have to bring it at some stage throughout the Rugby Championship, won't I? Just so that you guys can hear that South African national anthem. Plus, I'll have to learn how to play it again, because or else then it might sound awful. That looks like a freshly shaved palm. I guess so. I don't even know you could grow hair on your palms. Is that actually a thing? I got hair on the back of it. That's just the back of the hand, though. That's not the palm, is it? What's the back of your hand called? Back of your hand, isn't it? But there's another, official name. What's the official name for the back of your hand, ladies and gents? That's the question for half-time. I enjoy the commentary so much that I forgot about what's going on in the game, says Benita. At age 25, you get him bald, says Spider-Man. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just going to happen, isn't it? I'm going to be bald with this chat. Say Mani ball in hand has been great and has set up a lot of good attack and play. I grew up 160 kilometres from Bloemfontein. It's tough country out there. Portugal 6 out of 10, box 0 out of 10, says JP. I have 5 o'clock shadow on my palms, says Michael. I'm not going to read that, Doctor. I believe you're only 23, Hammy. I am 24, but I'm going to be 25 in December. So, quarter of the century. I feel like that's worth a celebration. Hamstring. That's the best answer, I would say, so far. Hamish got carpenter's hands. He works a desk job, says Sander. Shockingly, no calluses for a builder, Hamish, says Grant. No, they're looking pretty all right at the moment. I had a week and a bit off in terms of just because of how busy it is, but I've got to build a shed on Monday. Oh, that's tomorrow for us here in New Zealand. But yeah, they'll look a lot worse for tomorrow, I would say, than they do at the moment. You're still a baby, says Salah. And chat is degenerating quicker than usual. So what does a hairy ass say about one friend? Or one then asking for a friend? Probably just warm. I don't know what it would mean. You're warm down there? The hair would grow well in the warmth, wouldn't it? Would someone who's from a warm... No, I don't even want to go into it. Is George helping you build? He is not. No, it is myself and Dad building it. A calf shed, fun fact. I'm 24 in November the 29th, getting old. That's only a few days before my birthday. My friend wants to know too, says Sander. It's called I Know Your Place. A bit of the hand, says Giddy Giddy. How you have hair on your palms? No, I don't. That's the thing. There's none on the palm that I know of. I know even apes and chimps don't have hair on the palms, says Gus. No, you're 19, we know that, says Music Anime. Yeah, but I'm just not, am I? I don't think I look 19 anymore. I feel like I'm past that stage in my life. Maybe if I shaved, but then I feel like I'd look a bit weird. It's got a backhand, depends on what it's used for, the application. Let's stick to the chats on the game. Says Debbie, it's currently half-time in this contest. We've gone through the key players as well. We are just looking at that Andre Estays red card again while we are waiting for the second half to get back underway. But the Springboks, a nice lead at the moment, sitting 29 points to 7 up. There's also that yellow card that was a croc roll that we will have to wait to see whether or not it is upgraded. Show the other hand, Hamish. The other hand is the same. I'm right-handed, you know. That one's the same. Oh, that changed colour. That made me look very purple. Oh, look at the apes and chimps don't have hairy palms because they give themselves blow. Hang on. Wouldn't it be a hand rather than a blow, though? Maybe. Not that I know anything about either of those things. What do you think of the red card? I think it was pretty soft, to be honest. I honestly thought it was only a yellow card. But, you know, it hurt a little bit. Are you at work? I am not, no. Well, not really. I'm at my second job, I guess you could say, but it's my second volunteer job because I don't get paid. And Victor Matfield also saying the red card is very wrong. Says Albert, this juice, or this sounds like tennis backhand for hand juice, says Andre. 22 points in favour of the South Africans at the moment. There's been some great tries. Jan Hendrik Vessel scoring earlier on in the contest. We've seen Pepsi Buthelezi, Ben Jason Dixon, and also Lukan Yuam alongside Kuti Aransa. I believe those are all of the tries that we have seen from the South Africans. Is the left hand purple because you've been sitting on it? It is not, no. It's just the lighting, I think. It does look really purple. How do I... There we go. That's a little bit closer to the colour that it is. Thanks, Simon, says Doctor. Yes, you get paid for this. I do not necessarily, because the channel is monetized, but I have not pocketed any money from the channel. I put it straight back into the channel to pay for either subscription services or streaming software or a green screen microphone, anything like that. But in terms of like a wage, I do not actually have one from the channel. And chowing some chocolate cake now, so good, says Justin. I've seen worse red cards than that. I think it's only a rugby incident, says Monet Lagrange. So now the red card means Andre will not go to Australia probably. That is true. He might miss out on those two matches, which would mean that Damien Dialindi would probably be the 12. Although what situation is he in? I know that he left the squad for personal reasons. So a soft yellow card, eh? I'd say soft red card. The yellow card for the croc roll I think was like reasonable just because it can be so damaging for a player. Go the Bocky, says Lindella there. Yeah, the second half not too far away from getting back underway, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to have plenty more action coming up in the near future, including the sevens, which is happening just around the corner. Ben Jason Dixon, he had that nice pick and go to score his try in the 27th minute. Then we also saw one not too far after coming for Lukan Yuam in the 39th. Yellow card is soft, red card is stiff. Steers a Spider Mech in there as well. But do let me know your end score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a look and see whether or not who is the most likely at the moment. I would say that Juan Pierre Bosch. That's a nice picture of Peter Steph the toy down there, isn't it? 57-7 could be a possibility still. Crimson 64 points to 7 for the Springboks. Justin went pretty big, went for 84. That's probably not a mile off either for Bugski. Or maybe this one, if they... I don't think they'll take 3-pointers though, unfortunately, but maybe 65 for the Springboks wouldn't be a mile off in this game either. But yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to put those predictions in. That red is fine. Then the croc roll from last week should have been a red all boards in the name of player safety. And good, I don't care if Andre goes to Oz. That's a good thing, says Andre. Of course, speaking for the other Andre in that case. Andre never gets a chance to show what he can do. And ball in hand, I trust Lebok. Dead ball situation, I bet against him, says Amy there. And is it a 20-minute red card? It is not, I don't believe, for this match. I think it is. They're down to 14 for the whole game. End score will be 63-17, says G. And Damien Dialindi is getting married. That personal as they come, says Mornay. Yeah, the red might change that now. Well, that's the thing. If this is crazy to say, but if we end up seeing Kuti Aransa's croc roll upgraded to a red, then he would miss the matches up against the Australians. We already know that Filippo Dongunu is going to miss the matches up against South Africa because of the situation of him getting the red card. And just have been feeding my python. Has there been another red? There hasn't, but there is a yellow card, so I don't know whether that's going to be upgraded. Well, anyway, thank you for your live streaming when the signal is bad or load shedding, and most of the time count on you, says JR. And no hairs on palms because you have been friction, says Bookski. I guess that's the other way of looking at it, isn't it? I guess. But Sia hit Doris head on head in the 27th minute, and happily for everyone it was missed. Red card needs fixing, says Jimbo. Yeah, I think everyone just wants to see consistency. We don't really have that at the moment. Staying on yellow, says Juan Pierre Bosch. So yeah, it shouldn't be upgraded anyway. And do you know the time left on yellow card? I think it's about 4 minutes for Arinsa. What's Arinsa done now? It was a croc roll, but it wasn't too bad. Roy, how would you rate Ollie's performance so far? For her first international game for the Springboks, I think she's done all right. We've got to remember, like, as much as people want to blame her for the red card, it was the TMO who did make the end decision. My prediction is a 47-15, says Lindella there. How's the cricket going? I think West Indies were doing all right last time I saw. They had about 300 for 5. I sent me the link, says Irvin there. And 49-25, says Ernst in his prediction. I personally think that's not a red card against Kutli Arinsa. Holly is a cutie. Says Justin, well, legit, thanks, son. Says JR. And there as well. We're getting advertisements for big trucks and whatnot. I don't think I'll need one of those anytime soon, but they'll probably show us a food ad very soon because that's normally the next one. How do you rate the ref? I think she's done all right throughout this game. Like, I don't think there's been any decisions that have made people really scratch their heads. I think that the TMO's decisions in this game have been a little bit more like you don't know what's coming. And yes, she has been strong, fair, respect the ref, says Juan Pierre Bosch. And they're just a little cricket before bed. Hopefully a pizza ad, says Justin. I wouldn't mind a pizza. I've been having too many pizzas lately, though. The shirt's getting a bit tight, so gotta lay off the pizza a bit, I think. Our female ref, Joy, was worst TMO at the World Cup, says Jimbo, who was the box captain today. It is Salman Mora, the 66th Springbok captain, and the first ever Muslim Springbok captain as well. Hold up both your hands, Hamish, while you're talking about the ref, please, Hamish, says Sandor there. And also we're good there. It's not a bad score considering we've been playing with 13 men, says Grant, but currently 22 points difference between these two sides. They are about to make their way back out onto the field to get ready to go for this next stage of the match. But anyone who's new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. I had chop suey and rice, and that too much boxki, there as well. And the Stormers captain Salman Mora. But 66th Springbok captain, Andre Hugo Fenta's father. He had 66 caps. And also, Andre Hugo Fenta, the 16th father-son combo for the Springboks. He is also playing number 16 in this game. 43,000 roughly in attendance for this game. They are absolutely loving it. At the moment, Jean Klein injured as well. I think so. And Timo needs to take an extended halftime break, says Amy. Chop suey, or suey. It's island dish. Is it? Now the Springboks, 13 players on the field. They will be kicking off from right to left. Can the Portuguese come back into this contest? It looks like Mulder has gone off for Cabral. And now, kicked off long from Mani Lerbok. A little bit of a handling error for Portugal early, but managing to regather it. And Camacho does put it into touch. Is the stadium... Well, it's the stadium where Rassi got famous as a coach. And I was like, how's it, China? Says Juan Pierre. So it looks like it's going to be a throw for Johan Krobela. We're going to soon see a few more debuts making their way off the bench. Juan Fenta, Andre Hugo Fenta is there as well alongside those two. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there. Evan Ruiz decided he needed to get a push in. Juan Horn, Morne Vandenberg, couple Lionsmen can make their way off the bench as well. Now going across to Ben. Jason Dixon tried to get up and goes again. Makes a couple extra metres. 30 metres out from the line. Mani Lebok with the inside ball to Salman Moura. Reinach going across now and behind. Oh, big shot coming in on Mani Lebok as he knocks the ball backwards. Andre Hugo Fenta tackled. Springboks losing 15 metres. Give us your score prediction. I think my prediction for this game was 52-16. Or somewhere around there. I think was my end prediction. I think that was in the preview that I gave that one. Correct, let's give the newbies a break. Very hopeful. Lukanyo on the halfway line gives it off to Makazole Mapimpi. Just 7 phases in a row now for the South African Bismarck, says Crimson. If you get 100 likes on this video, do we get to hear Antarctica's national anthem? Says Brandon. It's an embarrassing anthem, I would say. We did write it when we were like 12. Oh no, I was a bit older than that, probably like 15. Somewhere around there, I would say. Now, short ball, Mani Lebok can't get his offload away. Offloads it to Kobus Reinach. Now goes to the kick and behind. That was a bit of a nothing kick. And it now means that Portugal will be able to kick this one down the middle of the field. A lot of open space and some good pace being shown by the Portuguese player trying to chase after it. Lukanyo goes back to Fassi and he will put that ball into touch. Or does he? Yes, does go out in the end for Apalele Fassi. Another injury for Portugal. Just joined Kurtley Ardense, got a red card. He got a yellow. Andre Hesteys the man who did get the yellow card. And the try scorers at the moment, Kurtley Ardense, Jan Hendrik Wessels, Pepsi Buthelezi, Ben Jason Dixon, and also Lukanyo South African, but the quality of rugby so bad, says JP. Portugal playing well, as good as the World Cup, says Jimbo. I would say so. I feel like they've had some really good moments, definitely throughout their first 10 minutes of the game. Did look very strong. And Jan Hendrik Wessel says Hughes hands, picking up the ball one-handed, Python style. Says Albert, and Morne Stain is coming on. Rank the teams you've seen playing in this 4-week tour. Oh, that's a tricky one, because there's a lot of thinking that has to go into it, and it depends on how many sides you are ranking. I say baby is the anthem, Hamish wrote it. Says Fluffy. I was doing 100 pickups in high school. 100 or one-handed pickups. What do you guys want? Because Springbok is leading. Says Samuel. And did you see Red's B team versus Wales last night? It was actually a really good game of rugby. I must give compliments where it is due. Portugal is playing with grit and determination. Right, sounds like time is about to be back on. Portuguese player, I believe, has he made his way from the field? We've got an extremely high pan of the ground. Can't actually really tell if he's made his way from the field or not. Looks like Kurtley Ardense is about to make his way back on after his yellow card. Now about to feed the ball in for the Portuguese, Camacho. He's had a busy game at number 9. Try within 5 minutes by the Springboks. CSG. Okay, so that means they've got 2 minutes now to score one, seeing as we've had 3 minutes of the second half. And 29-7 is a good score for both sides. Says Hanoi. Big push coming from the Springboks, but the ball is there for Portugal. And now using their back line again here. Mata going across 15, puts it in behind. It's not going to go into touch. It's kicked forward. Was that a tackle without the ball? It could have been by Makazole Mapimpi. Has knocked that ball on for the South Africans, and Portugal getting a really good territory gain. Look at that, Tiddlywinks, Manny. And Antarctica, says Fluffy. Just ends up putting it down. Makazole Mapimpi. Simon, I turned them down because I did not want to play against the All Blacks. Says Manny M. Now another scrum. Last one was pretty strong from the Springboks, but Portugal have managed to hold their own, or at least they collapse in a way that they kept the ball on their side. Right, sounds like 9 and 10, both going to be subbed here for the Springboks. It's going to be Kobus Reinach making his way from the field. That will be for Morne Vandenberg, his debut for the green and gold. And then Mani Lebok will come off, and that is for Sasha Feinberg Ungume Zulu as the replacement. Or is it? I think Kudli Arunsa might actually just make his way straight onto the field for... Is Lebok making his way from the field? It does look like he is. Lebok seemed lethargic. And we have got there, that's how we different. Every schoolboy in South Africa wants to moor the All Blacks. Or we're the ABs. But Sasha Feinberg Ngungame Zulu onto the field at number 22 for this game. He was great in the last contest up against Ireland at number 15. Vili LaRue having that very early injury. Now Mone Vandenberg gets his first chance in the green and gold, and he is already talking the halfback. And Sasha was always going to replace Lebok after half-time, says Albert. A thumbs up from Doctor. It's about to be fed in. Scrum looked relatively high there, and I believe that is so that Portugal do not collapse under the pressure from South Africa. It is there for them, and now the offload coming. Appleton, lined up by Makazole Mapimpi, and now Kudli Arunsa. It's going to be a foot race between him and Marta is winning it at the moment, but he busts through one Arunsa, and he's dragged down by the scramble defence of Portugal. 10 metres from the line, Mone Vandenberg gets it up to Makazole Mapimpi. Vandenberg finds Evan Rus. He did put his hand up and said, I want to try and bust through. He's the only loose forward who hasn't scored in this game for the Springboks as of yet. But perhaps it could be just around the corner. Here comes Johan Grobelaar. Low tackle made on Amaji's name, and it doesn't go to him. Instead, Morak gets his offload. It's a loose ball, and South Africa just missing that pass that they needed to get it down. Vandenberg now looking to the left-hand side. Jan-Hendrik Wessels gets through one. Appleton onto the ball and manages to get the turnover. But Mone Vandenberg wins it straight back. I have Portuguese in-laws. Doubt I'll be invited for lunch in the foreseeable future. Oh dear lordy. See the bonita. And that rough is a cutie. And that was fast and a huge hit. But Kudli Arunsa showing pace. But in the end, Manuel Pinto chased him down by the 22. Thomas Appleton managed to get his turnover, but then the next clean-out wasn't there, and Mone Vandenberg gets the early turnover in his Springboks career. Ben Jason Dixon being first to catch up with Arunsa is amazing for a forward, says Albert. Looks like now there is another debut. Elric Lowe makes his way onto the park. And what happened? Oh, I think I said a debut there, but Elric Lowe has had experience in the past, I should mention. Or has he? Am I thinking of someone else other than Elric Lowe? Has he got caps under his belt? I think he's had like a few, hasn't he? Or have I got the wrong player? The turnover was good, but he played it off his feet after, says Simon. And Pinto was fast, says Annoy. And now 5 metres out from the line. Well done with the names of the South Africans. I always knew you were an undercover Springbok supporter, says Locken. And nope, he's got a cap or two, says Salah. Now it's going to be fed in, or is it? Oh, too much movement at scrum time there. Springboks looking for that big shove. Yes, Eldrick has caps, says Albert there. I want to say he's got 5. I'm going to do a quick little Google of it. Eldrick Lowe caps. How many caps has he got for the Springboks? He's got 2 and he's got 4 for the under-20s. Is Eldrick Lowe's current record. A penalty try coming. Hamish is a die-hard AB's fan. I don't know about that. Hi, all good game for now. Says Jean there. And our form is actually a little shocking, says Sino T. Is that East Asian's last ever chance? I don't believe so. I think he will get more opportunities. And rather, a rogue plague has been erected at Trent Bridge. Describes the short broad end. Now that's going to be another advantage going the way of the Springboks. Mone Vandenberg, flat ball, going to Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu, Makazole Mapimpi. He's never passing from there, and he goes in for the try and scores it. There's black blood flowing through his veins. That would be extremely unhealthy if that was the case. But 48 minutes in, South Africa score again, and this time it is Makazole Mapimpi. He does get himself the try. That is going to be his 28th international try. And a bit of needle there. Says Eric J. But yeah, Upper Lilefasi was waiting for it on the outside, but he was never quite going to get that one. Soon as Makazole Mapimpi got within 10 metres, you know that man forgets what the word pass means, and he will go towards that try line and just not stop until he gets there. And yes, Mapimpi says Grant, a nice Maishaki. Sergin there. Our first kick for Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu. Mapimpi is someone's name that we don't mention earlier. He's actually had a great game too. Sniping runs, good offloads, and some huge hits on defence. I did say his name at halftime as one of the players I felt had been strongest for the South Africans. I love Mapimpi, says Albert. Hello from Ireland. Patrick O'Brien here. How are you doing, lads? There was a Armour fan drunk in Dublin because Kerry lost to Armour 116-114. Says Bad Dragon, Mapimpi is the man, and I think the Box will win the Rugby Championship. Is it seriously still half-time? It is not, Bruce. We are currently sitting 53 minutes through this contest. Makazole Mapimpi has managed to score, or in fact 50 minutes through, my apologies. But Portugal now back to the halfway line after the kick from Sasha Feinberg. Ungume Zulu has gone over. It's now going to be kicked off short by the Portuguese, and they will retain the ball in the hands of Thomas Appleton. Maybe he hasn't quite had the possession as much as he would have liked throughout this matchup. Nice little passer behind, though, from Portugal. Quick hands looking good here. Drawing in the defence and passing it out wide. Here comes Dos Santos. Cuts inwards. Gets through 2 tackle attempts, but is dragged down by Elric Lowe. I don't think that is going to be a penalty, in fact. Interesting. See, I thought that they were going to say maybe the South African player didn't roll away, and then these Portuguese chicks are hot. Says Albert. I Hamish, Mr. Commentary, been a long time. Says Stull. Welcome back, though, mate. Hopefully you are keeping well. And also we get the JP Island 125-24. And the Box don't really care about what happens between World Cups. Rassi is still building the foundation for the next World Cup. Says Lockin. Now kicking this one downfield. Doesn't find touch from Sasha Feinberg. Ungume Zulu. He's made an early mistake off the kicking boot as well. Now Appleton, that was a rough pass. Oh, that's beautiful. Round the back pass going into the hands of Rodrigo Mata. South Africa looking for the counter-attack. Didn't quite get it. That ball's not flying too nicely there, or at least it was. And now cross kick from Portugal. Goes out wide. Feinberg, Ungume Zulu waits for the bounce of the ball. Portugal with the counter-attack. There were hands down there. Could have been a penalty against the Portuguese. Is that one going to be called as a rolling maul? It is stuck in there. They've got the advantage for 2 not rolling away. Now in mind again, Portugal going to be looking for their backline to fire. Dos Santos. In fact, this time it is Samuel Bento. Gets through 2 tackles. Dragged down by Upper Lelefasi. This ball's flying in a weird way. That's a nice attack. And oh, he's been snapped. Unfortunately, that looked like he got bent at the hip, but the wrong way round. And thanks for the awesome commentary, Hamish says Heidi. Thank you very much for being here. Of course, we have got plenty more coming in the future. Rassi will be content. Information is all he wanted from this, says Jimbo. In between 50th and 60th minute, only 2 penalties for the last 20 minutes in the second half. We will have 4 tries for the Box and 1 try for Portugal. Final score will be 63 points to 17. However, there what happened to Caden Moody. Not seen lately. He was good. He is still in the squad per se, but he wasn't available for this game due to an injured finger. Injured it in about the 2nd or 3rd last game of the URC for the Bulls. So has been out since then, but he is going to be back for the Rugby Championship. So you'll see that man in the very near future. Now kicking this one towards the touchline, it will be Portugal. Once again, will find themselves about 5 metres out from the Springboks line. Luka Bejic will have the throw. Beautiful passing by Portugal. Yeah, I always say it. For a lower ranked side, they have some of the nicest backline passing you will see. Like in terms of the way that they are able to find each other with the ball, and it's just all right to the chest, ready to go for that next little pop on. Going to be a rolling maul here for Portugal. Looks like it's forgotten what way it wants to go as it is going backwards, but there is going to be another penalty advantage against the South Africans here. The ball's popped out on their side, so they will go back. They wanted to take it quickly. Morne Vandenberg chucking the ball away though. Will stop them from taking that quick tap. Cape Town is waiting for you, buddy, says Herman. Do you ever want the other team to score at least 1 point just because? They did come to try and beat the Box, says Benita. Yep, how smooth was Portugal's backline? Good hand, says Annoy. It's going to be 5 metres out again here for the Portuguese. I will mention, though, just as a little bit of a surprise, I've got something South Africa and Springbok related that is going to arrive probably next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm also not going to answer guesses, but I got something based around South Africa and the Springboks that's going to be showing up at my house. So, when it arrives, of course, I will let you guys see it. Probably be the Rugby Championship, in fact, unless it's for the Blitzbox game when they do take place for the Olympics. Portugal style looks exactly like French rugby. Says Albert there. We do care about winning between World Cup, says Bolski there. Overthrown for Portugal there, green box tie. It's a jersey, says Locken there. Ronaldo should play for Portugal, says Manny M. He probably shouldn't. That's going to be a knock-on from Mone Vandenberg in the breakdown. Is that an injury? Nope, Pepsi Butterlazy is all right. He was stuck underneath the breakdown there, so wasn't able to roll away. Green and gold dildo. How'd you know, Salah? And Antelope, says Sandor. Green biltong. What animal would that be that you end up getting the green stuff from it? Your biltong Shrek. Mail order bride from South Africa, Hamish, says Grant. No, shipping was going to be too expensive for that, unfortunately. 25 minutes left in this game. I don't think we're going to be too far away from seeing Andre Hugo Finta get himself the chance. Have you been to South Africa since the World Cup, Hamish? I have not, no. Don't worry, Hammy, I can read your mind. I won't tell, trust me, says Spider-Mick. Good. Springbok nudist. What can you buy in the mail in South Africa? I don't think they ship that internationally. Ronaldo does play for Portugal. There's Lilia there. I know you will look good in a green and gold jersey, and green biltong is raw meat left in the garden too long. Now, going back across to the left-hand side, running this one forward. Going to be Appleton. And South Africa handkerchief to cry into at the next World Cup, says Peter Wild. I feel like that would be a bit premeditated, seeing as we've still got about 3 years. Might be able to get one for a discount in the future. Lokanyoam now playing halfback. Will kick it downfield. It's a big box kick for Lokanyoam. Saw the space in behind. Now they're going to look to pass this one back towards the touchline. Kicked in behind. Cleaned up by South Africa at the back, where they will run it forward with Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu. We know this man loves to run with the ball in hand. Sells the dummy. Goes himself, the youngster. He is a talent and a half. Gets it away to Mapimpi. Assist for Feinberg, Ungame Zulu. Mapimpi gets the try. And that is another one. Is it Faf's Jocks? It is not, no. And we have got there a Penrith Panthers Rock Hamish. Says Manny M. Where did that come from? I think I just heard one of the South African players say to Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu, but just running it back. And Vimbiu Beauty says Lilia there, but just goes through, targets the gaps, and then manages to get that offload away to Amakazoli Mapimpi. The ref flirting with Bok 9, touching his arm, says Albert. And not fair, keep us in suspense, says Heidi. And balls are tangy, says Sandor, and Sasha U Beauty, says Grant. So now more injury replacements. Oh, hang on. The shot clock is off, but that is because there is a player in front of okay, 17's just been warned of nothing off the ball. They've also been told to get out of the way of the kicker. And I spick South Africa. And that new guy is pretty good, says Anoy. He's very good. Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu. You will be hearing that name a lot in the future. It's also got 1 from 1 for the kicking, asking the injured player to move. Mapimpi's dive is so bad, says Grant. And Sasha should have started, says Lilia there. Now, Sasha Feinberg, Ungame Zulu, ready to take this kick. Yay, says Kilikovis. It's not the most difficult one, about 30 metres out. And he's got it over once again. And that'll make the score now 43 points to 7. I want to see a rugby league versus union match. It will bring in loads of cash. It probably wouldn't, though. That's the reason a woman banned from refereeing the men's game. Nobody win. They busy looking at her boobs. Are you thinking of Francois Lowe? Says Bruce Collins in there. Now getting ready to kick this one off again for the Portuguese. That would be too difficult for Lebok. Says JP. Nicely taken by Elric Lowe. Tackle low by number 17, the man who just got his fingers all put back together. And I should mention Andre Hugafenta is now on the field, dating Rassia Rasmus's daughter, so he wants to put in a good impression to his future father-in-law. Rassi's probably told him, if you don't play well, you're not going to marry the woman. Now going over to the right-hand side, on the halfway line here for the Portuguese. These divers are thinking beauty, says Jimbo, who's kicking out. It is Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu, currently sitting 2 from 2 at the moment. 40 metres out from the line here for the Portuguese. I do see that Untatoku Machunu has also made his way onto the field for the South Africans. So I think they've made most of the changes now. Nice pass on the outside from Portugal. Once again, Dos Santos. He has got pace down the wing, breaks through. Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu's defence. Made it look easy. And that is another try for the Portuguese here. 2 in this match. Keep it up, Bok, says Mikel there. And also we have got the try, Portugal, well done. Passing is on point. Oh, what a try by 23 for Portugal, says Jose. Well, sorry, that wasn't Jose who said that. That was Hanoi. I think the only thinks the ref is being too strict. Tempo is very slow and the team have gone. Got so much game time. Yeah, that's a poor bit of tackling there from Sasha Feinberg. Ungume Zulu just pretty much let the man through him to score the try. Whose wing? It was out on Mapimpi's wing, but Mapimpi was infield and Ungume Zulu was the man covering and just ended up completely missing it. Over there, give us your honest opinion. Compare the past 3 Springbok games to your ABs, says JR. I mean, very different. Both sides, you know, like when you look at, they've both gone with the experience for those first 2 contests, and then they've gone with the young guys for the 3rd game. I will say New Zealand's young teams seem to have been a bit stronger, I would say, than South Africa's young team at the moment, but that could also be down to the fact that some of New Zealand's young team were also still a part of that squad playing up against the English off the bench, whereas a lot of these guys for South Africa have hardly had minutes throughout the 2 games up against the Irish, but, you know, there's 2 very decent starts for Ireland and New Zealand in terms of after their World Cup campaigns, but great try for Dos Santos. That's his 2nd of the match. And to think he was supposed to be coming off the bench in this game. I told you 4 tries for the Box and 1 try for Portugal. Well, now it's 2 tries for the Portuguese, although, of course, you're meaning second half. How many have Springboks got? I think that's 2 now for the second half, isn't it? Maybe Sasha learned defence from Percy Montgomery. Much stronger, says JP. And agrees, says JR. I flipped my fishing boat today. Well, that's not ideal. How'd you manage that? We trust in Razor, says Manny M. It's going to be kicked downfield by Portugal. They do manage to get the ball into touch. No, says Kilakobas, and well done, Portugal, says Benita. Yeah, they've still been good throughout this game. They've got 14 points on the board. My original prediction for this game was 52-16, I believe. So I don't think I'm going to be quite right, but I'm not going to be a mile off by the looks of how this one is going. But Andre Hugafenta now getting ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken by Aji Sneyman. Now Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu. Lukanyuam hits it up to 45 out. Mona Vandenberg gets the breakdown quickly. Away to Sneyman. Now Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu. Going for the kick in behind. There is space there, and if this ball stays in, but it doesn't quite, I was going to say, if it stays in, Juan Horn on debut. Almost could have got himself that one. I'm happy to see Australia is getting some wins again. The Southern Giants need each other strong, says Lochin. And also, was the Fiji game any good? Many. I was doing donuts and my motor cut out and the waves got to us. Well, hopefully everyone is all right. Sons of Virgins there. Oh, that was close to a knock-on. Just regathered in time, though. Does Portugal do have a 7th team? Yeah, they certainly do. I think they had a game where they could have qualified for the World 7 Series. In fact, they may have, the Portuguese. I know that Samoa missed out. I know that USA got in, Kenya got in, Spain got in. I think Canada may have as well. In the end, or I could be wrong. I think Portugal may have got there. I'm glad Fussy is off, says Grant. Rose are going to restore the All Blacks aura again. And fishing team South Africa. Flipping my fishing boat today. Brandy, says Stahl. Nice break and run from Ben Jason Dixon. Gets it away to Makazolema Pimpy. Offloads to Mornay Vandenberg. He gets within 5 metres on Springbok debut. I'd love to score a couple more tries here. Untutuku Machunu gets it away there. To the hands of Ruan Finta. I think Samoa made it. They actually missed out, the Samoans. They had to play the USA and sadly ended up coming up short. So they will not be on the World Series for next year. That's going to be another penalty. You'll just read anything. I flipped my fishing boat, says JR. And they did, yes, says Andy. And there as well. Now they are going for the scrum here, the Springboks, the replacement front row. I see Trevor Nakanye also is on the field. Adi Sneyman. He wanted the offload there, but then we did see just the player leaving his feet. Did you see they arrested 2 French players in Argentina? I did. Not ideal for that scenario. Becomes a 16 father-son combination to represent the Springboks is what they've just shown there. And of course that matches the number on his back. His father having 66 caps, which matches Salman Morat's captaincy number for the Springboks. Portugal feeling it, says Salah. I'm half Brazilian wax. Best you probably don't get too close to a candle then. Or any sort of flame. You probably melt a little bit. And I'm 15, so it was only battery acid. 90% alcohol, I think. That's a lot. Now 16 minutes remaining. I will ask the question, ladies and gents, just because I haven't seen it anywhere yet. Does anyone know when the Springboks are announcing their Rugby Championship squad? Is it directly after this game, or are they waiting about a week or so just so that they can see who is injured, who isn't, type thing? But yeah, if anyone knows the date of the Rugby Championship squad being announced, do let me know. Would be greatly appreciated. Morning, Hamish. Still going with the box, 50-19. Says Blues Nate. And Blind School versus Green Clowns. Says Outlaw and Brandy and Cope will flip you everything. Says Locken. Right, 16 sounds like he is going to be coming off for the Portuguese. And evening, why is not Japan in the Rugby Championship? They are worthy opponents. Says Manny M. They did lose to Georgia just recently, of course, the Japanese. But there are talks of whether or not they might increase the size of the competition. Stolberger, being a dumb teenager, will also flip your boat. And probably announced end of next week. Says Albert there. Because I know there's been some competitions that they announce it pretty much straight afterwards. My mustache is everything that Offs was missing. So what, you got the side bits but not the middle, JR? Right, I think there's just a bit of an injury concern at the moment. They're not too sure whether or not certain players going to be continuing. Curly Ardens absolutely smashed one of the Portuguese players in that Makazoli Mapimpi build-up. I did see for his try. I think Grassi will wait for an injury list to be updated before he announces a squad. Yeah, because at the moment, like, they aren't going to have marks for that first match. They aren't going to have Franco Mostert. They aren't going to have Cheslin Colby. No Peter Steph de Toy. But of course, for the overall squad, that some of those guys might still find themselves in there. Lots of selection headaches for the box. Yeah. Top try scorers. Makazoli Mapimpi only 3 behind Jacques Fourie. And then Just van der Westhuizen is there at 38 tries. So Mapimpi is less than 10 away from catching up with him. And of course, no one's catching Brian Habana. Although maybe one day Kutli Arinsa, if he continues scoring at the clinical rate that he is, he could do that. Is going to be an advantage now for collapsing. Here comes Juan Horn. He will score on debut. You could see as soon as he thought there was a big enough gap for him to go through, he went for it. And squad will be announced sometime next week, said Lilia B. Now 15 minutes remaining, the Springboks. If this kick goes over, they will bring up their 50 points. First international career try. And another debutant scores, Horn, says Lilia B. And quite a few sides could be the champ or Six Nations. Or could it be in the champ or Six Nations? It's the politics. Says cool story, bro. And a great try for Juan Horn there. It's a big celebration from Sasha Feinberg and Ume Zulu. We have there. Marks' injury was reported to not be, or to be not too serious. Yeah, so Mostert, I think, was out for 6 to 8 weeks with a broken leg. Marks also had a broken leg, but not to the severity. And they seem to think he would be back within a few weeks. So I don't know what he broke, but obviously, I think it was a fracture rather than a break, maybe, which I think is the same thing, maybe. But yeah, it wasn't as serious as Mostert's. And then Jason Dixon. Now, Horn definitely played themselves into the Bok team. Says Albert. I mean, Horn maybe not quite. Don't get me wrong. It's great that he's been able to get himself the try there, but that was a run-in, and he's only been on the field for 2 minutes. So, we want to see a little bit more than just that one. Unless you're talking about just the Bok squad in general, then I would say they'd have a decent crack of going in. A hairline fracture, says Jimbo. And we have their debut score, squeak, says Spider-Mick. But yeah, that kick from Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu, also has gone over. So that is now going to make the score between these two sides 50 points to 14. Vicente, he was on the field very briefly and then did end up getting taken off the field due to some sort of injury, unfortunately. Van den Berg goes away to Ben Jason Dixon. He has had a really good game. But the question is, where does he go in their loose forward trio? Does he stay off the bench, or does he somehow get in front of Peter Steph Toy? 50-22 for Ungume Zulu, I should say. Sorry, I was getting tongue-tied there. But that is a great kick. And Marks gave his bone a dirty look and it healed itself. And on is going because Villiers has a question mark on his head injury. And Farsi not good enough for starting 15. And bone break is fully through the bone. Fracture is a piece of the bone separating off. Says Gus there. And the last try wins this game. Come on, Portuguese. Super impressive, Sasha. Says Lilia. And Sasha's insane, man, except on defense. Says JP. And Farsi and Este hasn't played themselves out of the squad. Although Este isn't, he's unlucky in a way. Because, who knows how he would have played if it wasn't for that one that caught him a little bit high. And yes, you could say he shouldn't have tackled him the way that he did, but he also probably wasn't expecting a red card. I'm sorry, man, I love you, but YouTube bot messed it up. Says JR. What happened, JR? I am confused. But now, Andre Higofenta. Ball is bounced out the back door. Morne van den Berg gets it away again to the big man, Eldrick Lowe. Now we have there, Amish, don't get too close to a candle, says Heidi Schmidt. That's a good run. Heidi's name and offloads. Oh, it was almost Rassi's son-in-law to be. Could have scored on debut, but doesn't get there. Morne van den Berg once again gets very close. And this time it's over the line. I think that was Andre Hugo Fenta. Yes, it was. He pretty much pushed everyone else out and said, this is my try, ladies and gentlemen. And Estazen should have declared himself for England. When he was in top form, says Annoy and Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu as a future World Player of the Year. You had to air first. And a break and a fracture are the same thing. There are various types of fractures and breaks. Says Dustin. Andre Hugo Fenta, his first international try. Mark's running away with it. Another debutant scores Fenta. And also, you've got there, South Africa should be ashamed to lose to Ireland. Says Stephen, why should they be ashamed to lose to the second best side on the world rankings? I am confused, Stephen. Do elaborate. I'm curious to see what you say. Portugal are completely gassed, says JP. Starting to get ugly for Portugal, turning into a cricket score. Says Sons of Virgins, and come on box, my 56-16 looks good now. Says Jimbo. Missed out on a few hundreds by 50-19. Says a Blues name. Also, you're still giving another try to the Portuguese, but still 10 minutes left in this game. It's certainly been a high scoring one. Missed out. I know I read that one, didn't I? Ireland lost to England. That's about as bad as it can get, says Stephen. But just because they lost one game to England doesn't really do too much, does it? And a World Box won't win a third cup in a row, says Manny M. And finally, a 5 out of all these games, champs show the way. The thing is, though, right, when you think about it, if the Springboks were to win 3 in a row, right? Like, the next time a team can win more than that or match that, it would be 2039 before a side can match that if they were to win in 2027, which is crazy to think that 2039, I will be 39 or 40 years old. That's a nice run from the Portuguese. Pinto has not given up throughout this contest. Morne van den Berg, he's got another clean steal for the Springboks. Kitli Arendse puts the ball on the outside to Ben Jason Dixon. Oh, that one's going to be knocked out of the hands of Morne van den Berg, and then he did actually play it on the ground. And also, we're going to watch out for the Wallabies in 2027. Thank you so much, Hamish, for broadcasting this match. Appreciate your professionalism. You're done a great job from Eastern Cape. Says Zimmerman there. And play it on the ground, says Annoy. I thought so, but I'm not sure why it wasn't called. That's a great run from Portugal again. Just couldn't quite get the offload away. They are 30 metres out from their own line. Going to the right-hand side here. The Springboks looking to defend this one. Andre Hugo. Oh, that's a tip tackle there. So that's going to be an advantage against Hugo Fenta there. And they will go back for the penalty. Dangerous tackle made. And hey, what was the red card for in the first half? It was for head-on-head contact between Andre Esterhuizen and the Portuguese player. Now, I didn't feel it was worth the red card. I thought it was a yellow, don't get me wrong. Like, it was still high, but I wouldn't have given it as a red. I didn't think it was as bad as it could have been, if that makes sense. And y'all crazy. It took Ireland's best performance to beat the Box by 1 point. Nothing to be ashamed of. Says Jimbo, and come on the Box. Let's take it to the 60s. Says C-No T. 7.5 minutes left. Like they were saying, there are plenty of players who have got player of the match contention on the cards, whether that is going to be Makazole Mapimpi, whether we see Ben Jason Dixon up there. I'd give it to Ben Jason Dixon. Even though I think that there is a high chance that Makazole Mapimpi will get that. Get exposed after they can know the sport well, says Gus. And getting closer to my score, 63-17. Right, hands are on the ground. Portugal wanted to take it quickly, but they weren't on the mark, unfortunately, so they will have to go right back to where it was. Well, they were only off the mark by about a couple of metres. So now they will be kicking this one towards the touchline. And 2039 I'll be dead. If not from old age, it will be from rugby stress. Says Peter Wild, are you enjoying the match, Hamish? Nice game, says Dylan. It's been an entertaining contest between these two sides. I think Portugal have really held their own at times, but these young Springboks off the bench are looking to really bring that impact. I mean, Morne van den Berg already has got 2 turnovers for his side. Okay, score for 14 men, says Cool Story Bro. I'm loving the Portuguese fighting spirit, says Lilia in there as well. Now nicely claimed by Portugal for their rolling maulers. Now set Ben Jason Dixon, man of the match, says Grant Swartz. What is your name? My name is Hamish. And your name is, I assume, Jaden, seeing as that is your YouTube name. Love of the Portuguese fighting spirit. I read that one twice, didn't I? Right, the ball is there. The Portugal do have to use it. Appleton going back, looking for the cross kick here. It is high. And Dos Santos has been taken out in the air by Juan Horn. So they have got themselves the penalty advantage now. Quick tap taken. Dos Santos was on the mark and offside against Makazole Mapimpi. Back across, another cross kick from the Portuguese. It's going to be a beautiful one. Cutting back on the inside. Great pace from Pinto, but he can't get over. Still 5 metres short. If they go left-hand side, they should be able to score it. And they've gone round and they do score here, Portugal. And there's going to be a yellow card for Makazole Mapimpi as well for being offside by the sounds of it. We have got there. When will there be a Rugby World Cup in South Africa? It's probably going to be a little way away, though. We have a few more in different locations beforehand. Okay, there go the Bok. Says Robin Lowe and Hamish, you are a legend, South African fan. Says Craig, thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. And try Portugal, says Lilia. And there as well. And Portugal would be England at the moment. We should have promotion and relegation in the Six Nations, says Stevie. And lovely try from Portugal. And well, rugby don't want a World Cup in South Africa, says Sally. Although, to be fair, aside from the weather, the under-20s showed that you can have a competition run in South Africa. Juan Horn actually got a yellow card for that one, getting himself a try and now a yellow. A little bit similar to Apelefasi's first game that he was back for the South Africans, but currently 5 minutes left. I apologise for my countryman Hamish. They're special, but we're with them. There's Oliver. And Pinto deserved to go over. He's been great. Sadly, he did not score it, though. Instead, it was one of the forwards. I think it was Portugal who did end up scoring, or actually Madeira it might have been. So they're given another hiding. Says Rippy YT. And that one's gone over from Portugal. 57 points to 21. Back to 13. South Africa's too dangerous, unfortunately. Beautiful country, but unfortunately very dangerous. Says Stephen. And how do you have a regular job and do the 50 streams a week? Do you ever sleep? Says Gugu. Not really. Overall, like we haven't slept decently since the Rugby World Cup, where we did a whole heap of all-nighters covering rugby then. Since then, I can't remember the last time I had like an 8-hour sleep. Everything's always been a lot shorter than that. But we got used to it. Oh, Kurtley Arendse ends up cleaning that ball up for the South Africans, who will once again have themselves a good attacking position here. And Portugal played well enough to upset all predictions, says Arthur. 9 points over. Says Blues Nate there. And not as one-sided as everyone thought it would be. And yes, Portugal scoring that first try of the contest, I feel, was also a pretty epic moment for these guys. Because now, we've got to remember, that was the first try ever scored between South Africa and Portugal. Oh, that ball hit the referee by the looks of it, but it is going to be play on. But yeah, first ever try, South Africa versus Portugal, will forever be in the history books as a Portuguese try. Now, first win will go the way of the South Africans, but that is something that Portugal can kind of hold on to. And thanks for great commentary. So here's Arthur, nicely passed on the outside, going to Makazole Mapimpi. He scored 2 tries already in this game. Now back across to the hands of Elric Lowe. They're up to 10 phases. I love you, Hamish. There's Sons of Virgins. Well, hopefully your boat's all right, and also you are. As well, like I said earlier on, best not to do those donuts. RG's name and offload up to Andre Finta. Monet Vandenberg going across there. Offload coming into Thuku Machunu. Still 5 out. Moura doesn't get the offload away that he wanted. That was almost knocked on from Lucanioan. Ball is loose. Picked up by Portugal. And they kick it downfield. On the halfway line. Oh, Hungame Zulu hit hard in the tackle. Monet Vandenberg protects the ball for the Springboks. And we have there take your hat off for Porto. Well done, Portugal. Few teams in the world can do what you did, says Spider Mech. I'm making you a song on guitar. I look forward to hearing it. Little kick behind from Ngame Zulu. Looking to play a bit of territory. It goes to Kurtley Arendse, who's stepped into touch. It's now going to be Portugal's ball, man of the match. I would give it to Ben Jason Dixon. Does Elric Lowe know he is allowed to pass and offload? Says Grant. He must have been training with Makazole Mapimpi, I would say. And RG as a good candidate. Yeah, he's been strong throughout this game as well. RG Snayman. Should there be more females featured in test matches? Says Blues Nate is in the refereeing side of things. If they are the right qualifications in terms of the best person for the job, then absolutely. He's been keeping the ball alive all game, says Simon. Now line out here for Portugal. Anywhere on the Western Cape is safe. I live in Eastern Cape and it's sketch, says Sons of Virgins. Portugal contest at the breakdown, Mission Impossible. That's a really nice wide cutout pass. Going to Dos Santos. He's already scored himself 2 tries in this match for the Portuguese. Now stolen from Elric Lowe in the breakdown. Lucanio goes up to Trevor Nekanye. I believe that is his first carry. Irish, thank you for your broadcast, mate. It was great. Says G, thank you very much for tuning in. It was greatly appreciated. You all being here for this one. Still another 35 seconds, which could lead to another Springboks try if they make the right decisions. Here comes Ruan Finta. Only 4 meters out now. Monet Vandenberg. Makazole Mapimpi in for the hat trick. And all cities are safe if you know which parts of the city to go to, says Sino. And there as well. Now sitting 10 seconds left on the clock, I believe. By the time we see this kick, it is going to be the end of the contest between these two sides. And hat-trick for Mapimpi, says Lilia there, and I vote you best, most entertaining commentator ever. Thank you from those of us who can't view the game. We can imagine it as you describe it. Excellent, says Benita. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here once again. And of course, throughout the Rugby Championship, we are going to be here for the matches. Also alongside that, we've got the Olympics next week where we do get to see the Blitzbox in action. So if you're a fan of the Sevens, be sure to check that out. But there is a kick to come. Young Springboks did good though. And thanks so much, says Albert. Our last kick for Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu, and we will get to see who was the closest. I was close to my score with 63-17, says G. Who else have we got? We got... It's more so who was generous to Portugal, wasn't it? Because not many people gave Portugal more than a few points. This was pretty close. 65-18 from Craig in terms of the overall score. G also was close with 63-17. I think they were the two closest that we have seen. And Ungume Zulu converts. And that is now going to make the score at the end of this contest 64 points to 21. The South Africans managing to get themselves the win. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in, ladies and gents. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back for the Rugby Championship. We are going to be back with a video announcing the Springboks team, the squad that is going to be put together. And it should be a pretty awesome one. But the first ever test match between these two sides was an entertaining one and a great way to finish our rugby weekend of the commentary. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will have a post-match review coming out on the channel in about 25 minutes time or so. So be sure to check that out too. And I will see you all for the next one.